Hello and welcome to Ray Fisher Stadium here in Ann Arbor, Michigan. This is WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball. Andrew Hausman alongside Eli Sherman. This is the Wolverines' final regular season series here today, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 6 p.m., and noon, facing against the number 13 Oklahoma State Cowboys, and the Wolverines will have their work cut out for them if they are going to try and even snag a single win here this weekend. Eli, what can they do when facing off with such a powerful team, especially on the mound?
Well, I think Michigan's goals, first and foremost, are to continue their offensive production that they've had throughout this season. They're going to have a tough task facing off with the starter of Oklahoma State today, Michael Freeman. He's a senior left-handed pitcher, sporting a 1.16 ERA and an 8-2 win-loss record as a starter this season. He's made 12 appearances, all of them starts in a very hardy Big 12 conference. Of course, Oklahoma State is going to finish up second in that Big 12 conference behind TCU. Freeman stats, more on that. 85 2/3 innings pitched on the season. Walks, 77 strikeouts. Batters are hitting just 184 off of the lefty. So Michigan's going to have to get out ahead early. They're going to have to really attack, be aggressive, because this is not a guy that you want to get into a pitcher's duel with, because he will outlast you, even if you have a guy as strong as Evan Hill on the mound for you. Evan Hill, the other side of things in this game, he's a junior left-handed pitcher for the Wolverines, 5.32. His ERA 1-1 on the season. He's made 8 appearances. Today, his 5th start, just 23 2/3, obviously coming off of injury.
And here he is to face Gage Green. There's the first pitch outside, breaking ball, misses, blown away. 1-0. First pitch at 6:01 p.m. 61 degrees here in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Next pitch in there, right at the knees. Fastball for a strike. He's the count at 1-1 on Gage Green, the catcher today for the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Batting .290 on the year. On base percentage, just a hair under 400 at .399. Breaking ball in for a strike at the knees, 1-2.
Oklahoma State's lineup today. Gage Green batting first, catching. Donnie Walton, the shortstop, batting second. Tim Arakawa, the second baseman, batting third.
Green fouls that one off down the third baseline, out of play and into the Yost Ice Arena parking lot.
3, 4, 5 are Connor Costello, the right fielder. Corey Hassel, the center fielder. David Petrino, the designated hitter. 7, Ryan Sluter, the left fielder.
Here's the 1-2 delivery. That's popped up in the air. That goes foul as well. Count remains 1-2 on Gage Green.
And Dustin Williams and Jacob Chappelle, the first baseman and third baseman, rounding things out for the Cowboys.
The lefty Hill against the lefty Green. Hill taking his time. Now he delivers. The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. And a strikeout against the leadoff batter. A good start for the Wolverines here. 1 up and 1 down in the top of the first inning.
It's about the best way you could start a weekend as you could hope for. Evan Hill getting things off on a good note, setting the tone early here. He'll have to do a lot more of that strong pitching, controlling the zone. We saw in his last start last weekend against Northwestern, most of the struggles were self-induced.
And he deals a fastball in there against Donnie Walton, the starting shortstop for the Cowboys, batting .320 on the year. Also notable, only 16 strikeouts and 16 walks. 0-1. That's fouled off down the first base line. That'll get out of play. Benedetti giving chase, but that gets it just barely into the parking lot here at Ray Fisher Stadium. Quickly 0-2 on Donnie Walton.
These two teams come into the game similar records. Oklahoma State 32-16, Michigan 32-21. But interestingly enough, the batting averages for Oklahoma State not quite as stellar as those for Michigan.
Yeah, Oklahoma State really makes their money on the defensive side of the ball, especially into that strong pitching staff. As you mentioned in the pregame show, Michael Freeman sporting that 1.16 ERA, one of just many strong pitchers on this Cowboy squad. The 1-2 delivery, that's lifted high in the air to left field, way back, and that one is going to be off the wall. Walton will cruise into second with a stand-up double. Gave that one a ride, almost knocked that one out of the park, but it hit about halfway up that brown monster out in left field. He's on with a 1-out double.
Cody Bruder is really lucky on that play. That one, almost misplayed it, and he was standing right under the wall. Ball bounced back towards the infield off the wall, and if it had gotten a little bit further away from him, looked like Walton would have been able to try for third on the triple. Instead, ends up on second base, but Brewer has to be a little bit more careful on playing those balls, the line drives off of the top of the wall.
Yeah, you got kind of lucky that dropped just straight down to him instead of taking a strong ricochet. First pitch to Tim Arakawa is up and in, 1-0. Arakawa, the second baseman here for the Cowboys.
And as we were saying, Oklahoma State just 3 hitters hitting above 300 on the season.
But also note the caliber of their competition. Here's the 1-0, and that hits him. So the Cowboys have runners at first and second, only 1 out here in the top of the first inning. Breaking ball missed badly right into the arm of Tim Arakawa. He'll trot down to first base. They'll bring up the cleanup hitter, Connor Costello.
Also something to note, Oklahoma State, quite a bit more power at the plate. They have 3 hitters with 5 home runs, 1 with 6. In addition to 6 home runs between the rest of the starters. So comparatively, quite a bit more extra base power and deep threat.
I'd say it's about the same. You got some big lineups, big hitters in the Wolverines lineup as well. Cronenworth with 6, Patrick with 5, Gladys Benedet with 3 each, and Benedet just narrowly missed one on Tuesday. We've seen quite a lot of pop out of both of those bats, especially of late. If there's one edge I won't give the Cowboys, it would be in the power department. Here's the 0-1. That one's in the dirt. Good block by Kendall Patrick. The runners will stay where they are. Walton on second, Arakawa on first. 1 out here in the top of the first. Evan Hill got Green to strike out, swinging as the first batter of the game. Then Walton launched a double on a bid for a home run to left field, but just ended up bouncing off the ball. Easy stand-up double for him. Arakawa was hit, and that's where we stand with 1 out here, 1-1 on Connor Costello, the number 4 batter for the Cowboys. He takes one low and in. Breaking ball misses, and it's 2-1. He'll step out, get the signs. Wolverines playing very, very deep all around. Arakawa with good extra base power, 7 doubles, 5 home runs on the year.
Umpires for today's game. Over at third base, Peterson. First base, Stuart Hall. And behind the dish, my personal favorite, Sal Giacomontonio.
And that's his first appearance of the year for the Wolverines game. I know Eli's really been looking forward to saying Sal Giacomontonio. But here he is in the Wolverines' final regular season series of the year, finally making an appearance in Ann Arbor.
Gives us a special treat to finish things up after what's been a great season here at Ray Fisher.
2-1 pitch fouled off down the right field line. That'll get into the Ray Fisher Stadium parking lot over towards the track and the first base line. Evens the count at 2-2 on Connor Costello. Evan Hill in the mini jam here in the top of the first inning. Looked good retiring Green pretty easily, but then he got hit hard by Walton and plunked Arakawa. Costello's at the dish right now. Waiting for the 2-2 pitch, but first Evan Hill will step off and look Walton back to second base. Cronenworth trying to sneak in behind him. Gutierrez getting a second consecutive start at shortstop for the Wolverines. He played well in that 17-2 drubbing of the Eastern Michigan Eagles here on Tuesday night.
Yeah, Travis Mazes playing DH today. They still want his bat, but they're going to give him a little bit of rest.
2-2 pitches down and in. That runs the count full. That will loosen up the runners here.
Mazes not quite injured, but also not at full health.
Big pitch here early on in the game for the young left-hander. Hill comes set. Delivers 3-2. Runners are off. Breaking ball is fouled off. They'll almost get up to the press box.
That was about 2 feet in front of where we were on Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah, I've always said we're going to get a foul ball sometime. Our fellow WCBN correspondent, Zach Shaw, denies that'll ever happen, but I have faith we'll eventually get a foul ball.
Maybe today's the day.
Count remains full on Connor Costello. Walton on second, Arakawa on first. They'll be off with the pitch. Hill checks the runners. Now he'll throw over to second base. They almost got him, but he is safe.
Nice quick snap throw. Flipping around to the glove side. Cronenworth was playing a double play depth, so he's just off the bag on the right side.
Yeah, as we detailed last Friday against Northwestern, Hill has a variety of pickoff moves. The slow lob, and that one you saw the quick snap throw back to second base. Cronenworth trying to sneak in there once again. Here's the payoff pitch. Runners are off, and that one moves inside. No need for Kendall Patrick to throw down to third base. That loads the base with only one out for Corey Hassel, the center fielder for the Cowboys. No damage done yet, but big opportunity for the Cowboys to get this weekend off to a hot start. Only one out here in the top of the first inning.
Looks like Sean Kenny, the Michigan pitching coach, going to go out and have a conversation with the lefty junior. Not surprising, as Hill has worked himself into a jam here. Got the leadoff strikeout and then allowed a double and 2 consecutive walks to load the bases.
Yeah, perhaps getting just a little bit too fancy. He's been throwing that breaking ball on and he really hasn't been able to hit his spots. I think that's what's got him into trouble. Maybe just needs to trust his fastball a little bit more. It did get ripped almost for a home run for the second batter of the game, but he's come back with a breaking ball and ended up hitting Arakawa and then missed with a breaking ball to Costello. Actually a number of times, but especially for ball 4, and that's what's loaded the bases here. So Kenny will have a word with the junior lefty, and we'll get back underway. Sales Giacomo Antonio trotting out there to break up the conference on the mound. Corey Hassel batting .316 on the year. Slugging .439.
Looks like old Sal has a new mustache down there.
Eli's personal favorite umpire, as mentioned before. Here's the first pitch to Hassel. Checks his swing. That one misses low. He'll step out, get the sign. Corey Hassel digging that righty batter's box to face the lefty Evan Hill. Bases are loaded here. One out in the top of the first. A swing and belted to left field, and that will get down for base hit. 1 run will score. Here comes the second to the plate, and he will hold up at third. The throw is very high, but Patrick able to snag that one about 15 feet beyond home plate. So a single scores a run, and the Cowboys have an early 1-0 lead here in Ann Arbor.
Bruder airmailed the plate there, but demonstrating that he has a strong arm that could scare the Cowboys for the rest of the game, keep the running game in check if they know that the left fielder can fire from about 20 feet off the wall and get the ball home on the fly.
That was well beyond home on the fly. That was about 15, 20 feet beyond home plate. You pretty much drew a straight line from left field to home plate. It was 20 feet beyond that line. And I think it could do exactly the opposite, is showing his limited accuracy there. Arakawa could have scored easily if he had turned, but with only one out, happy to stay at third. First pitch to David Petrino is in the dirt, the DH today for the Cowboys. The righty will face the lefty Hill. Wolverines will play him to go just a little bit the opposite way, pretty much straight up, a little bit deeper than average depth in outfield. Bruder in left, Glines in center, White in right. Evan Hill takes a long look in. He's working very deliberately here in the first. The 1-0. Breaking ball is grounded to third base, and that one will be foul. Perhaps fortunate for the Wolverines, as that would have been a difficult play for Jake Bivens to try and get Dave Petrino. Petrino, average speed. Didn't look particularly slow or fleet of foot. Limited appearances. Only his 12th start of the year for the junior. Count is even at 1-1, 1 out here. Already 1-0 here for the Cowboys in the first inning.
Looks like Oliver Jaski going to head to the mound and start warming up. Head to the bullpen, I should say.
And once again, a breaking ball misses inside. We've seen a lot of that from Evan Hill so far. Count goes to 2-1. Good hitters count for Petrino. Arkawa on third, Costello on second, Hassel on first. Hill working very deliberately. Here comes the 2-1. That one's grounded to third base. Stopped by Bivens. Throw to second base, and that'll be it. And now we'll see the runner scamper home. So 2 runs will score for the Cowboys. We saw a takeout slide by Hassel, who ended up being out on the play. But then Cronenworth just dropped the ball. So 1 run came to score on the ground, and another run came to score on alert base running. 3-0 Cowboys here on 2 hits in the top of the first.
Yeah, Cronenworth dropping the ball on the transfer. Evan Hill tried to argue that Hassel had kind of kept him down at second base, kept him from getting up to try and retrieve the ball as he was on top of his legs after the slide. But I really don't think that's on Hassel. It's more incidental contact, and the runner, as you mentioned, heads up play heading home to score with the ball dribbling away towards the outfield, away from Cronenworth.
So 3 runs by virtue of only 2 hits. Petrino remains on first base. He reached on the fielder's choice just a few moments ago. Ryan Sluter, the tall left fielder, will dig in.
And they're actually going to rule that an error by Cronenworth, dropping the ball. The drop apparently, in the scorekeeper's opinion, allowed the run to come home.
Now Sluter will pop that one up into shallow center field. Cronenworth is under, and he will make the catch. But not before the Cowboys add 3. Here in the top of the first, they lead 3-0. Head to the bottom of the first. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball. Andrew Hausman alongside Eli Sherman.
Not the start the Wolverines wanted. And, you give a guy like Michael Freeman a lead, I don't think you quite often have a chance at regaining that lead. So they're going to have to change the tune in this game.
Yeah, I thought the Wolverines
back on their side.
I thought the Wolverines had a pretty good chance after the base loaded with 1 out, and Hill was able to induce that ground ball. I thought they had a shot at 2, maybe not, but then it turned from even after they didn't get the double play, it became apparent they weren't going to get the double play. Turned from bad to worse as the runner came home on the heads-up base running when Cronenworth dropped the ball on the transfer. So then that allowed 3 runs to score, and like you said, against Michael Freeman, it's going to be very difficult to try and score 3 runs against him. And he's shown that he can go the distance, 3 complete games in 12 starts.
Yeah, Michael Freeman, as I mentioned, a senior left-hander, 6'8", 236 pounds out of Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. And, he looks all 6'8" on that mound. He's a big boy just, looking at him. And that really makes it difficult for hitters. Also has kind of a sidearm delivery. And with Michigan batting so many left-handed hitters in the lineup today, they actually do have an extra righty with Gutierrez in there. 5 lefties, 4 righties. But nonetheless, the sidearm delivery coming in to the left-handers has to be very difficult to track the ball. And when you're 6'8", you're also pitching from 54 feet away from the plate rather than 60 feet 6 inches because you have that long stride, and the reaction time is going to be down, and also the ability to see the ball out of the hand is going to be that much more affected. So Michigan is really going to have to figure something out here. They're going to have to really get used to the pitching, and they're going to have to adapt quick.
And here's the first pitch to Cronenworth. Cronenworth, as we mentioned, playing second base today, had that error that allowed the run to come home. He'll take the first pitch for a strike. He'll dig back into that lefty batter's box to face the lefty Freeman. Delivers 0-1. Breaking ball misses low and outside. Very slow, only came in at 64 miles an hour on the gun. Good job changing his speeds. Cronenworth, 344 on the year. Here's the 1-1. That one misses low as well. 2-1 on Jacob Cronenworth.
I think that 64-mile-per-hour reading might have been a little bit inaccurate. Next one came in at 73. That sounds more a college
pitch
speed.
is grounded to the third base and off the glove of Chappelle. So Cronenworth will reach with a likely infield base hit. And the Wolverines have their leadoff runner here as they look to respond to the Cowboys' 3 early runs.
Base hit indeed. Michigan has to stay patient at the plate. They have to understand what's being thrown at them and be able to find good pitches to hit, not get kind of psyched out by the fact that they're facing off with a guy that not only is throwing from a lot closer to the plate, also hides the ball well and can really control his pitches to boot.
The first pitch to Bivens. He squares to bunt, and that one goes foul. 0-1 on Bivens.
So the Wolverines content to play small ball today.
Not a terrible idea against Michael Freeman, and gotta say, wasn't too surprised that ball went off the glove of Chappelle. 14 errors on the year down at third base. It was ruled a base hit, but not the best hitter, or not the best fielder, down at the hot corner for the freshman Chappelle. Now see a throw over to Cronenworth, but he's back in standing up. Count remains 0-1. The freshman sensation is on a 11-game hitting streak. Waiting for the 0-1. Here it comes. And that one's lined right back up the middle for a base hit. Cronenworth had to hold up to see if that would get caught. And the Wolverines have their first 2 runners on here in the top of the first. Bottom of the first, excuse me.
Again, just got to keep chipping away. I think Jackson Glines right here will really be indicative of the tone that's going to be set for this game. Will it be a seesaw slugfest, or will Freeman be able to adjust and figure out a way to shut down the Wolverine hitters? I think if Glines, who's hitting .352 on the season, can continue to attack Freeman, that's when the pitch count's going to get up and start getting escalated. He has to slow down and really focus with runners on, or a run scored and runners on. And if Michigan just can continue moving up one base at a time, continuing that strategy, it'll work for them.
Klein squares to bunt. He'll pull it back. That'll be a strike nonetheless. He did pull it back, but
actually it looked like Sal Giacomontonio pointed on the bunt as Glines kind of ran out of the batter's box trying to maybe drag bunt a little bit and didn't get a handle on it.
Here's the delivery, 0-1. That one's down and in. Evens count at 1-1 on Jackson Glines. Cronenworth standing on second. He had an infield single lead off the game. Bivens single to center. Wolverines have their first 2 runners on here in the bottom of the first inning. Cowboys are very deep all around in the outfield. Freeman delivers 1-1. That one's down and in. 2-1 on Jackson Glines.
Across the way, the Oakland University women's softball team is practicing. They're going to get things kicked off against Michigan tomorrow, the start of the NCAA regionals. Michigan, of course, hosting, as they're the number 3 national seed.
Back to baseball. Freeman delivers. There's a ground ball short. Flip to second base. This could be 2. Relay to first, and that is not in time. So a fielder's choice by Jackson Glines. He reaches first base. Cronenworth advances to third. Bivens is out at second base. And that one was just hit a little too softly to be 2, especially with the speedy Glines headed down the first base line. So now runners at the corners with only 1 out for Carmen Benedetti. This is the guy you want at the plate. He hasn't exactly been on a hitting tear recently, but he's been knocking in runs galore, and he did have quite a solid day in that 17-2 slugfest on Tuesday. 4 for 4 with 3 RBIs. Very impressive performance from Carmen Benedetti, and at least try and get 1 run in here against Michael Freeman.
Yeah, the difference between the good hitters and the great hitters is even when you're cold, you still find a way to put balls in play and make something happen for your offense. Carmen Benedetti obviously hasn't really hit anything super hard consistently of late. He did have that long fly ball to right field, but the power is kind of turned off for the last week or so, but he's still getting hits and still hitting runs in.
takes the first pitch inside for a ball. Next pitch is a strike in the outside corner. Evens count at 1-1. One out here in the bottom of the first.
Benedetti, 63 RBIs on the season. That leads the Big Ten. Also, 376 his batting average.
1-1 just misses low and away.
558 the slugging percentage. 23 doubles. All three of those statistics also lead the Big Ten.
Quite a year for the sophomore first baseman. Looking to get some runs knocked in here. 2-1 pitch. That one's fouled right at the Michigan dugout. Almost took out Hector Gutierrez, but that one gets into the mesh netting. Gutierrez will be a little scared by that one, but he'll walk around and no worse for wear. Evens the count at 2-2.
I think he just saw his life flash before his eyes. He kind of shivered as he stepped away from the fence after that one.
Freeman comes set. The 2-2 delivery. Swing and a miss. Big strikeout by Michael Freeman. And that's 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. Can't like what you see if you're head coach Eric Bakich. You expect Carmen Benedetti at least to try and drive something to the outfield or even a ground out that's not a double play to get the run in. Unable to do the job, and that'll leave it up to Cody Bruder.
Well, it is a 9-inning ball game, so Michigan's going to continue to try and take their opportunities, just get the balls in play. Things aren't over yet here in the first.
And Bruder will foul that one straight back into the press box.
Nearly hit old Bob, PA announcer, down the line a little bit here.
Did Bob make it today? I know the Tigers had a game today, an afternoon game, so he might have been able to get down here in time.
Well, I see him sitting down there, so
indeed he did. 0-1 on Bruder. And there's a ground ball right up the middle. That's snagged by the second baseman. And he will flip over to first base. So that will do it. The Wolverines threaten but do not score. We head to the top of the second. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball.
So you saw it right there. Michael Freeman, that's what he does best. He gets out of jams. Just like I was talking about Benedetti, even when he's not having the best day, he still finds a way to produce as a hitter. Similarly, Michael Freeman, even when he's not more or less untouchable, he still finds a way to get out of the jams and limit your production. I wouldn't be surprised if those 3 runs that are already on the board would be enough to do it for Oklahoma State in this game when the things are all said and done. I think Michael Freeman, one of his best assets is being able to settle down and not get flustered by adversity and settle in, find the strike zone, and really make you beat him if you want to score.
Yeah, Benedetti never looked comfortable. To be honest, none of the Wolverines hitters looked that comfortable at the plate despite getting the first 2 on. Then the Wolverines, they're 3, 4, 5 hitters were unable to do anything. Glines just grounded into a fielder's choice. Benedetti struck out, and Bruder grounded out as well. And even those hits, the only really hard hit ball was Jake Bivens, who's really seeing the ball really well right now. As we mentioned, on an absolute tear, 11-game hitting streak, batting over 500 in that 11-game hitting streak. He hasn't been getting a lot of power hitting streak, only 2 extra base hits in the 11 games, but he's been getting singles galore. That's what he's able to do, and really the only hard hit ball against Michael Freeman. But we'll turn it back over to Evan Hill as he takes the mound for his second inning of work. Gave up 3 runs in that first inning. 2 of those earned. Here's the first pitch to Dustin Williams, the first baseman, batting in the 8 hole today. Williams, the sophomore left-hander. 1-0. That one misses outside. Williams out of Weatherford, Texas, 6'2", 222 pounds. Waiting for the 2-0 delivery from Hill. Here it comes. Fastball misses outside, 3-0. Evan Hill picking up right where he left off with a shaky first inning.
Walks have been the trouble so far. 2 of those guys in the first inning got on base because of the walk.
Fastball in there for a strike. Pop the glove of the senior catcher, Kendall Patrick. Looked like Dustin Williams was taking all the way. Makes the count 3-1. Still should get a good pitch to hit here.
Needs to be perfect given the control issues.
3-1 pitch, and he is far from perfect. That one misses well outside. And the leadoff batter is on. Dustin Williams trots down to first base. Benedetti will hold with him there. That'll break up the number 9 hitter, Jacob Chappelle, the freshman third baseman, batting .275 on the year. As we mentioned in the bottom of the first inning in the lineup, more for his bat than his glove. 14 errors on the year. Also gave up a infield base hit that arguably a lot of third basemen would have made the play on down at third base. But he'll step into that righty batter's box, squares to bunt, gets a good one down the first base line. That one go foul. Didn't look like Evan Hill was going to have a chance at that one if that one stayed fair. So he just lets that one roll foul and nothing but a strike. 0-1 on Jacob Chappelle. Williams will return to first base. Benedetti is waiting for him there. Middle of the infield in double play depth. Cronenworth a little bit in at second base. Has to possibly cover first base if Chappelle chooses to bunt again. Bivens standing right on the edge of that infield grass down at third base.
I'd fire it inside here.
And that's exactly what he does for a strike. Pitching coach Eli Sherman here alongside me, 0-2.
Well, it's not so much pitching as I know how hard it is to bunt, and the hardest balls to bunt are the ones that are up and out that you have to reach for, and therefore you're likely to pop up, and the ones that are down and in, and you kind of get jammed on the hands and you're not going to get good contact on it.
0-2, down and in. Try to get him to chase the breaking ball. He stays exactly where he is, but a good block by Kendall Patrick keeps him in place. Chappelle will look down to his third base coach. Williams takes his lead off first base. Leadoff walk on 5 pitches for Dustin Williams. Jacob Chappelle at the plate. 1-2 pitch. Just misses. Good breaking ball. Dipped a little bit too low. And the count goes even at 2-2. Wolverines pretty much straight up average depth in the outfield. Klein's just a little bit shaded towards left center. 2-2 on Jacob Chappelle. Here it comes. And he got him looking. He just stood there and watched that one go by. And a strikeout looking for Evan Hill for the first out of the top of the second. Cowboys lead 3-0. They got 3 first inning runs. Wolverines got the first 2 batters on in the bottom of the first, but were unable to score. That's where we stand here in the top of the second. Williams on first base. Gage Green will step in. The leadoff batter for the Cowboys struck out swinging his first time up. He'll take the first pitch in the dirt. Another breaking ball by Evan Hill misses low.
First inning aside, I think what we've seen so far has demonstrated that this team matches up well for Evan Hill. They're disciplined hitters, but they're not big contact hitters. And Evan Hill is a guy that likes to go, on the perimeter of the zone and try and make you reach for pitches and really try and make you miss. Definitely pitches more in the strikeout side of things than for ground ball and fly ball outs.
And he gets a strike on the outside corner. Evens the count against Gage Green, 1-1. Williams standing on first base. Not much of a base stealing threat, 3 for 3 on the year. Hill shrugs his shoulders, now delivers. That one just misses. A little bit too outside for home plate umpire Sales Giacomo Antonio's liking. Count goes to 2-1. Cloudy skies here in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Just around 60 degrees on this Thursday evening.
Thankfully, no threat of rain, at least from what we've heard.
2-1 pitches foul back straight into the screen. Headed right towards us, but did not make its way here, and that evens the count at 2-2 on Gage Green.
Jaski still tossing the ball a little bit, not quite throwing warm-up pitches anymore down in the Michigan bullpen.
Yeah, he looked like he might get into a lot of trouble last inning with bases loaded, only 1 out. Was able to induce a ground ball, but that somehow managed to score 2. As Cronenworth recorded the first out at second base, but then dropped the ball in the transfer. 1-1 came in to score on the contact, another on the dropped ball. So that gave the Cowboys a 3-0 lead, but Hill was able to get out of it with a pop fly to center field. Now he misses up, And that runs the count full on Gage Green.
The breaking ball really hasn't been there today. Fastball has been more or less right where he's wanted it, but the breaking ball has been too far inside or outside it, or he hasn't really been able to get the hook and get it to fall off the table.
Williams is off. Throw down to second base. And that one is in time. So a double play for the Wolverines. Gets them out of the inning. Strike him out. Throw him out. We head to the bottom of the second. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball. Andrew Hausman alongside Eli Sherman. A strikeout looking against Gage Green. And then the great throw by Kendall Petrick to Nat. Dustin Williams trying to steal. As I mentioned, not the fleetest of foot. Only 3 for 3. Now 3 for 4 on stolen base attempts on the year. Big double play but for the Wolverines to get out of the inning. And Evan Hill will perhaps spot himself a little bit of an extended outing by getting out of that inning rather quickly after a tough first.
Yeah, that play, probably the most exciting defensive play we've seen out of the Wolverines all season. They aren't a team that is known for their defensive production and not really shut down. They're not really known to shut down teams with their defense, but right there, that is actually quite big. I think that's going to buy them a little bit more momentum, and also we see Oliver Jaski down in the bullpen puts his sweatshirt back on, so at the very least, it's going to keep Evan Hill around for maybe an extra inning or two, be it next inning or down the line in this game when he finally gets taken out. But, the longer that Michigan can keep their bullpen in the bullpen, I think the better they'll do in this series, because they really do want to, develop the stamina and really, really tune things in for the Big Ten tournament, which starts next week. On the other side of things, getting to the bullpen of Oklahoma State would be huge. If you can knock Michael Freeman out of this game in the next inning or two, then, you really set yourself up not only for this game, but also for the rest of the series, because Michael Freeman by no means is the only good pitcher on this team, both bullpen-wise or starting rotation-wise. They've got 3 really good guys coming in behind Michael Freeman.
That team ERA of 2.9, very rare in the college game. Freeman leads the way with a 1.16 ERA as a starter. Then Remy Reed coming out of the bullpen. Also has gotten a few starts, but mostly comes out of the bullpen for the Cowboys. He's been absolutely shut down. And don't forget their closer, Coda Glover. 1-1 to Travis Mazes, misses low, 2-1.
One interesting thing. If you look at Oklahoma State's schedule,
2-1 misses inside to Travis Mazes, 3-1 for the number 6 hitter here today. Playing DH, as we mentioned in the pregame show. Not at 100%, but they still want his bat in the lineup. 3-1 is grounded on a high chop to second baseman Arakawa. He'll flip over to first base. And Mazes kicking himself a little bit. He had a hitter's count, but perhaps swung on one of Freeman's pitches and didn't really get the pitch he wanted to hit. Grounds it to Arakawa, and you can see with him kind of running gingerly back to the dugout, he is not even close to 100%.
Yeah, Mazes, they need to keep him healthy as possible, because he needs to contribute if they're going to do well in the Big Ten tournament.
First pitch to White is grounded to third, and that time Chappelle will snag it. He'll fire over to first. And there's 2 quick outs here for Michael Freeman in the bottom of the second.
So as I was saying about Oklahoma State's schedule, they faced 10 ranked teams at both in 3-game series and also in single-game sets. The highest of which, of course, TCU, who right now is the national number 1 overall team. And so they are much more used to playing really quality opponents. Michigan, on the other hand, has only played 2 coming into this one. Maryland and this game, their second-ranked series. They, of course, played Iowa.
Strike in the outside corner, Kendall Petrick before he grounds it to shortstop. Walton flips over to first base, and there's 3 easy groundouts for Michael Freeman off the bats of the Wolverines. 1, 2, 3 in the bottom of the second. We head to the top of the third. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball. Andrew Hausman alongside Eli Sherman on the call. Happy to have you with us here on a rather brisk Thursday evening game here in Ann Arbor.
So I guess my point is, where would Michigan be if they were in the Big 12 playing against, the TCUs and the Kansases and the Texases and the Texas Techs of the world on a regular basis, weekend to weekend? Where would their batting averages be and things like that? I think, you look at Oklahoma State's batting averages. We mentioned they only have 3 guys hitting at or above 300. Michigan, 7 of their 9 hitters are in the 300s. Is it possible that Michigan is benefiting from playing weaker competition and that's what's allowed them to had so surprising of a statistical season? Or is this Michigan team really just a better offense and things just haven't shown themselves in the small sample size that we've had given 2 innings of play?
I think you really answered your own question there in that Michigan really benefits from being in the Big Ten and facing off against some of these weaker teams. I think they would not be doing well in the Big 12 if they were playing these teams week in and week out. I think those batting averages have been inflated a lot by some of these showdowns and absolute beatdowns of weaker competition. Of note, the 2 demolitions of the Eastern Michigan Eagles, not to mention them destroying the Toledo Rockets. And those are 3 games that really give your whole team a boost in those RBI categories, the batting average categories. And while Wolverines are playing the Toledo Rockets, Eastern Michigan Eagles of the world, Oklahoma State was out there playing Arizona State, Illinois. You see a lot of top caliber non-conference opponents as well for the Cowboys. So I think they're the superior team, but the Wolverines looking to maybe get 1 or 2 victories. I think even 1 victory would be a successful weekend for them. And more importantly, just no injuries as they head into the Big Ten tournament.
Yeah, one of the big ones that sticks out for Oklahoma State is actually Dallas Baptist, which, of course, is one of the lesser-known schools in the college sports world. But in baseball, they're a top 10 team. They beat Dallas Baptist 11-2 on May 12th and 10-7 in 10 innings on April 21st.
And the 1-0 hits the outside corner for a strike. There's a good breaking ball from Evan Hill to Donnie Walton. Walton ripped the ball deep to left field in his first time up. That bounced off the wall for a double. He ended up coming around to score on the ground out for the Cowboys. The 2-1, he fouls off down the first baseline. 2-2.
And we kind of saw, the Big Ten relationship to the rest of the college baseball world these last 2 seasons. With Indiana, they made it to the College World Series 2 seasons ago, and they really just didn't demonstrate an ability to compete at the highest level with those really top teams for the ACC and the SEC and the Big 12.
2-2 in the dirt to Donnie Walton. That runs the count full. Big strike does not allow the leadoff runner to get on base for the 2nd inning in a row. The payoff pitch. That one's grounded to third. Bivens will scoop it up, throw it to first base. And a good pick by Carmen Benedetti. He's able to record the out. First out here in the top of the 3rd. That'll bring up Tim Arakawa. He was hit by a pitch his first time up. That was when we first started to notice the control issues for Evan Hill, the breaking ball. He also came around to score in that first inning, and the Cowboys have a 3-0 lead. First pitch to Arakawa is down and in for a ball. 1-0. Wolverines pretty much straight up and average depth in the outfield. As in the infield, Bivens creeping in a little bit, watching for potential bunt. Arakawa swinging away, and he'll foul that one straight back into the screen. Evens at 1-1. 1 out here in the top of the 3rd.
Another interesting comparison. When you look at Michigan starters, the top 5 has started in basically almost all their games.
And there's a line base hit to left field. Bruder will field it on one hop and fire it back in, but not before Arakawa reaches first base. He's on with a one-out single here in the top of the third.
Michigan's played 53 games in the season. Cronenworth and Bruder have both started all of those. Bivens, Glines, Benedetti have all played in 52, 50, and 51 respectively. And so, of those guys, they're basically playing every game. They're not getting a lot of rest, and also behind them, there isn't quite as much developed depth. On the other hand, Oklahoma State has played 48 games, and only one guy has played in all of those games.
First pitch is fouled back into the screen, almost made its way into the stands.
That, of course, the catcher, Gage Green, and behind him, Donnie Walton, 29 games. David Petrino, only 33. A lot of their guys have played in the 40-game range, but they're not playing quite as many as Michigan. They're getting more rest, and also the guys that are behind them are getting a chance to develop, which helps for the season, for future seasons, I should say.
Throw over to first base. Arakawa is back in with a head-first slide safe. 0-1 to Connor Costello, the right fielder. He walked his first time out. That loaded the bases in the first. Cowboys end up scoring 3 in the top of that first inning. Another throw over. Arakawa was barely off the bag, but he'll lunge back in there with the head-first slide, get back in safely. Benedetti holding with him there. Middle of the infield in double play depth. Looking for a ground ball off the bat of Connor Costello, waiting for the 0-1 pitch. He will check the runner again. Now come home, and that one's fouled off. Same place, just a little bit higher, and quickly 0-2 on Connor Costello.
Surprising number of fans wearing the Oklahoma State Cowboy orange along the first base line. Burnt orange is Texas.
It is?
Yes.
Oh, okay. My mistake.
Get you the technicality on that one.
0-2 on Connor Costello. Still taking plenty of time on the mound. Shrugs his shoulders, now delivers 0-2. No one misses well outside.
Apparently it's just orange. No special special shading to it.
1-2 on Connor Costello. Arakawa takes his lead off first base. One out here in the top of the third. Cowboys lead 3-0. Now throw over to first base again. Arakawa is back in there safely. Arakawa is a threat to steal. 3 of 3 on the year, but does have good speed. Still 1-2 on Connor Costello. The game has slowed down considerably whenever there's been runners on base for either side. Hill checks the runner. Now comes home. Breaking ball just misses. I thought he had Costello looking just a little bit too low. That evens the count of 2-2. Want to get him right here before you loosen up the runner Arakawa at first base. Unless, of course, you're looking for another strike him out, throw him out. Those are hard to come by, especially with Arakawa being a little bit of a quicker base runner. He's drawn the attention of Evan Hill. That's the 4th throw over this at bat.
Hard to come by was exactly the phrase I was thinking of. You normally don't want to strategize with the plan to get a strike him out, throw him out. You'd rather get a ground ball up the middle with a double play ball in order.
Or even a strikeout would be big here. 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss. And the strikeout is in order for Evan Hill. He strikes out Connor Costello. His 4th strikeout of the day. 2 outs here in the top of the third.
Corey Hass will come to the plate. He beat Evan Hill for an RBI single in the first inning.
Yeah, it wasn't a particularly hard hit ball, but just able to get it through that left side, get one run in. We saw Bruder just launch it home, ended up going well beyond home plate. Wolverines are fortunate, only 1 run scored on that base hit. I thought Arakawa could have scored, but he held up at third, ended up scoring on the ground out from Petrino. Or should I say fielder's choice, as Petrino reached safely.
Here's a surprising stat for you. Evan Hill has already thrown 57 pitches. We're not even through 3. but he's settled down considerably.
Did you catch what the number was after the first? I think he had quite a few.
I believe it was at 23, but I might be mistaken, might be thinking of Michael Freeman's numbers.
Then a quick throw over to first base to drive Arakawa back. He'll definitely paying attention to him there.
Can't be Freeman's numbers. He's only at 25.
Hill working from the stretch with runners on. He'll deliver home. That's a pitch out. But Arakawa is not going anywhere. He'll return back to first base.
Not a bad move. Give up a ball to check and see if the runner is going and make sure that you got him in check. Make sure he's aware that you're ready for him.
What's surprising is Arakawa is not the biggest base stealing threat in this lineup. Gage Green, 16 of 19 on the year. So if they're going to have 6 throws over to Arakawa when he's on first base, what are they going to do for Gage Green, 16 of 19 on the year? Excuse me, Arakawa is 8 of 12 on the year. So one of the top base stealing threats, but Connor Costello's stolen more, 11 of 11. Corey Hassel, 10 of 13. Hassel waiting for the 1-0. Breaking ball misses well outside. Hills really had difficulty locating that breaking ball. Gun had at 67. I think it was a little quicker. The gun is not the most consistent here at Ray Fisher Stadium.
It's being operated by one of the baseball managers down sitting behind the plate. He's not really at the best angle, and I wouldn't be surprised if they haven't properly calibrated that radar gun.
2-0 delivery, here it comes, and that one's lifted high in the air to left center field. That one will get down for a base hit against the wall. Arakawa is rounding third. He will score. Hassel digging for 3. Throw to third base is not in time. He will slide in with a triple to right center field. That knocks in another run, and the Cowboys lead 4-0 here in the top of the third.
Evan Hill struggling. The key here is to really, buckle down and find a way to get outs. And that's something that so far Michael Freeman has shown he's been able to do. And that's something that Evan Hill normally is able to do. And thus far, he just hasn't been able to really control the Oklahoma State hitters. They are aggressive and they're like a nasty cold. They just won't go away.
They're still threatening here. And Hassel was thinking 3 right out of the box. You could tell by how hard he was running down that first base line. He was in there just ahead of the throw. It was a good relay throw by Jacob Cronenworth, but just a little bit offline, and that allowed Hassel to sneak in there. He's standing at third with 2 outs for Dave Petrino.
Hassel has quite a bit of speed. We saw him leg out the triple just there. He's 11 for 11 on stolen bases on the season. One thing they could consider doing is going for, some sort of hit and run, suicide squeeze. We see Hassel jogging down the line there pre-pitch, holding up.
Yeah, just trying to distract Evan Hill a little harder when he's a lefty and not really facing that way. But Kendall Patrick keeping an eye on him. David Petrino is at the plate. He has a 2-1 count right now. He knocked in an RBI with a fielder's choice in the first inning. Hassel dancing off third base. Breaking ball. Low and outside, 3-1 for Dave Petrino. 2 outs here in the top of the third.
He'll have to place a fastball well here on the outer half of the plate. Don't give Petrino anything too great to hit, but make sure it's in the zone.
3-1 pitch. That one's popped high in the air. Benedetti giving chase. So is Kevin White. He will call off the first baseman and make the catch.
What did I say? Well-placed fastball on the outside corner. Petrino dropped his hands, lifted that one up to right field. Easy play for your right fielder. That's what that's what Evan Hill has to continue to do throughout this game. Really just control the strike zone and own each at bat. Don't make any mistakes. Don't let the hitters get on top, because these are good hitters that can attack you and they're patient enough to wait till they find a pitch. And, you got to keep the score close. Michael Freeman on the mound hasn't shown too much signs of stressing so far. 25 pitches through 2 innings, and, we're only on the 9 hitter. Also, he's shown that he can get out of a jam, which Evan Hill has struggled with thus far. So, Michigan has to change the tone, and they got to change it soon because you don't want Michael Freeman getting into a groove and just pegging down hitter after hitter.
Yeah, at least they got to get some pitches against Michael Freeman. As you mentioned, only 25 through 2 innings, so he could be well on his way to another complete game. He's been absolutely dazzling in the Big 12 season. He's had 3 complete games in the Big 12 season, 7 games started against Big 12 opponents, 5-2 with only a .8 ERA. He has, I guess you could say, struggled against non-conference opponents, if that's the right word. His ERA is at 1.16 overall in the year, so just about a 1.6, 1.7 ERA against non-conference opponents. I wouldn't call that struggling, but for Michael Freeman, it is. He'll face Hector Gutierrez, getting his 2nd consecutive start at shortstop. He'll take that one for a strike. Oh, 0-1 on Hector Gutierrez. Another fastball in there for a strike. Quickly 0-2. Gutierrez getting the start perhaps as a reward for his excellent play in that midweek destruction of Eastern Michigan, 17-2. Looked very solid in the field in replace of the hobbled Jacob Cronenworth. Made some nice plays in the field. Also was able to reach base 3 times on 3 walks. Takes the next pitch outside for a ball. Here comes the 1-2. He'll foul that one off his foot. Count remains 1-2. Good piece of defensive hitting there. Knew he couldn't drive that one anywhere, but able to stay alive. Gutierrez will dig back into the righty batter's box against the lefty Freeman, who misses high and outside. Count goes to 2-2. Outfield plays the righty Gutierrez to go the opposite way. Hassel shaded well at right center field. 2-2 pitch. He got him. Breaking ball hits the outside corner. Gutierrez didn't like the call, but you at least got to lift the bat off your shoulders. That one was close, and that's one you at least got to give a cut at to try and do something with. Foul it off, lift to see on a pitch. He does not. And a leadoff strikeout for Michael Freeman against the sophomore Gutierrez.
Yeah, Freeman's not going to walk anybody today. I'm going to make that bold statement right now, and I think it's going to hold true. You're going to have to beat him by putting the ball in play and just attacking those pitches.
Cronenworth squares to bunt, pulls it back, and that one misses low and inside for a ball. Chappelle was not quite ready for that one, and if he got it down, possibly couldn't have bunted for a base hit. Nonetheless, a breaking ball misses low and away. 2-0 on Jacob Cronenworth. This is the hitter's count he wants. He did single in the first inning. That was a ground ball to Chappelle off his glove. Now he'll take a fastball strike right on the inside corner at the back of the plate. 2-1 on Jacob Cronenworth. Hitting .347 on the year, slugging .532. There's a breaking ball for a strike. That just froze Jacob Cronenworth. He buckled at the knees. Couldn't get the bat off his shoulder. And the count's even at 2-2. Freeman working quickly. Here's the 2-2 pitch. That one's ripped foul right into the screen. Cronenworth well behind that one. And he remains 2-2. Freeman delivers. 2-2 pitch. That one's lifted in the air. Foul. Goes down the left field line. Cronenworth staying alive here. Back-to-back fouls with a 2-2 count. Freeman working quickly.
Nice job by Cronenworth stepping out there and causing Freeman to kind of roll his eyes as he was ready to go, having to wait an extra beat.
Winds and delivers. That misses a little bit low and outside. Count goes full on Jacob Cronenworth. Outfield plays the lefty Cronenworth to go the opposite way. Here's the payoff pitch. He got him looking. Cronenworth not happy with that call. He'll take a long stare at Sal Jacques Montonio. But there's back-to-back strikeouts to start the third for Michael Freeman.
Yeah, I think that was a little bit outside, but, you know, again, you're not going to take a walk here, and you got to swing the bats. Michael Freeman, you know, not a strikeout pitcher, not a fly ball pitcher. He's a guy that is going to try and get you to ground down, and you're going to have to beat him by putting the ball in the air to the outfield.
I'd say he's a strikeout pitcher. Yeah, that's strikeout number 80 on the year and only 88 innings pitched. Right around 7 to 8 Ks per 9 innings pitched. Maybe not a high strikeout pitcher, but still very impressive numbers for the college game. 2-0-2, Jake Bivens. Bivens with the only piece of solid contact for the Wolverines. That was a single up the middle that put runners at first and second for the Wolverines with nobody out in the bottom of the first, but they were unable to score. 2-1 on Jake Bivens. Here it comes, swing and a miss. Breaking ball tied him up inside. Count goes to 2-2.
8.17.
What did I say? 7 to 8. 2-2 pitch. Low and outside. 3-2. So Wolverines have struck out twice this inning. They are making Freeman throw a few more pitches. 14 combined against Gutierrez and Cronenworth. But he gets another swing and miss. Freeman strikes out the side to the excitement of the Oklahoma State dugout. We head to the top of the fourth inning. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball. Andrew Hausman alongside Eli Sherman. The Cowboys lead here 4-0 in the early going. We're in the first of 3 between the Wolverines and Cowboys. A non-conference game to wrap up the regular season for the Wolverines before they into Big Ten tournament play next weekend.
Yeah, obviously you're going to throw a few more pitches when you're striking guys out because, you know, it takes a minimum of 3 just to get the guy. But, you know, Michigan really, again, has to put the ball in play. They're playing right into his strengths right now. And the success this season has been when guys hit him. You know, he's not going to walk anybody, has yet to walk anybody today, has yet to come close, really. And Evan Hill, I think he's trying to keep things as close as possible, but there's only so much he can do without a little bit of run support. He's going to be back out here for his 4th inning of work.
He will return to the mound. He's given up 4 runs on 4 hits, 3 of those earned. Also is really struggling with his control. Fortunate to only have 2 walks. Also does have a hit batter. He'll face the 7, 8, 9 hitters for the Cowboys. Sluter, Williams, Chappelle. Ryan Sluter 0 for 1 on the day. He popped out to Cronenworth his first time up. That got the Wolverines out of the first inning. The damage had already been done as the Cowboys took an early 3-0 lead. They were able to escape any further demolition by the Cowboys. Albert Jaski was warming up. He sat back down in the bullpen, but I don't expect to see Hill go too much longer. He's already at 65 pitches as we start the 4th.
I think that the bullpen is going to be on high alert for the rest of the game. Sluter takes a off-speed pitch on the outside corner for a strike. Sluter, a right-handed hitter. He's batting .313 on the season. Playing left field today for these Cowboys. 0-1 pitch. Down low, ball 1.
An unconventional batting stance by Sluter with that left foot a little bit ahead of the right foot. You don't see a lot out of hitters from either side, but especially the right side.
Well, he's batting with a closed stance. 1-1 pitch lifted high into center field, coming in as Glines. Easy catch for him. 1 away. And normally you see guys go with a closed stance when they tend to be a pull hitter and they're trying to get things back towards the middle of the field. They want to limit the number of times that they get out ahead of a pitch. And so right there, we saw one right to straightaway center, but I think he got a little bit too much under it, and that's what caused the pop out. Just a little bit behind the pitch and had to drop his hands to get back in front. Williams takes a strike in at the knees.
Williams walked to lead off the 2nd inning.
Hill is doing much better of late, getting those first pitch strikes. That's so crucial to your ability to control an at-bat. 0-1 pitch. Curveball gets away from Kendall Patrick, 1-1.
And give credit to the Oklahoma State Cowboys, they've had quite a rowdy dugout. A lot of energy there. Really just getting in the Wolverines' head a little bit here at Ray Fisher Stadium.
1-1 pitch, down low, 2-1.
Pretty tame crowd here today as well.
It is chilly.
It's 61 degrees in Michigan. That's not bad.
That's chilly. It was in the 80s last week. It's supposed to get a little bit warmer this weekend. We might see a few more fans in these next 2 days, especially if the faithful start to realize that there aren't too many more chances to see good baseball.
That's supposed to be a dig at the Tigers, Eli?
Well, you know, Ann Arbor might be a lot closer for some people. If you live, say, in Jackson or the surrounding area, can be kind of difficult to get down to Detroit. Pitch was inside, 3-1 pitch now. Line drive to right field. This could be trouble. Down, one hops the wall. Rounding first, heading to second is Williams. He's in with a stand-up, one-out double.
And he'll flash the old gunslinger side back to the dugout. A favorite down in the South. I thought he could have had 3, but kind of just trotted his way down to second base, and he's happy to be there with 1 out.
Well, Williams is a big boy. He's 6'3", 216. Plays first base, so not too surprised to see him hold up there. I think it would take a harder hit ball and maybe a misplay by the outfielders to get him more than 2. And either way, he's in scoring position. Better to be conservative. Ball in the dirt. Got away from Kendall Patrick, but Williams stays put as it was retrieved rather quickly, going off to the left of Kendall Patrick. 1-0 the count for Jacob Chappelle. Struck out looking in the second.
Yeah, almost got to third base anyway there, and perhaps a little scared to run after Kendall Patrick has already shown off his arm in this game, ending the second with a strike him out, throw him out.
1-0 pitch from Hill. Outside, ball 2. Coaches have been much more active on the dugout steps today, going up and down, consulting with each other, and giving instructions to the fielders on basically every pitch. A lot more mental game today against a tougher opponent. Ball outside, 3-0 the count. Evan Hill starting to fall off his horse. He was doing well for an inning and a half there. Really limited the damage. Got out of the jam in the first after allowing 3 runs. 3-0 pitch in there for a strike. That was close.
And as we mentioned, Chappelle in the lineup for his bat, but also for his eyes at the plate. One that you can do really well, especially for a freshman, is draw a walk, 26 walks in the year. That's why his on-base percentage is at .413.
Evan Hill comes set, 3-1. That one hits the outside corner. Chappelle was already headed to first base, stays put. Sometimes the umpire will go up with the right hand just because you try and show him up by assuming what he's going to call. So the count full with 1 out. Dustin Williams on second base, 4-0. The lead for Oklahoma State early here.
High leverage pitch right here.
The payoff. Curveball, line drive, foul down the right field line into the Oklahoma State dugout. That was just about 10 feet off the line. Hard hit, but a little bit up behind the fastball. Up and in. Count stays at 3-2.
Head coach Josh Holliday giving hearty words of encouragement to his freshman third baseman from the top step of that Cowboys dugout.
Payoff pitch, check swing outside, ball 4. First and second, 1 out now. It's going to bring up the leadoff hitter, Gage Green. Left-handed hitter. He's hitting 0 for 2 today, struggling against Evan Hill, the lefty.
The Wolverines have been fortunate to keep Gage Green off the base paths. He can be a tear at times, 16 of 19 on the year. Not something you expect out of a catcher, but pretty quick. I'd say it's very fair to say that he's a little bit faster in the base paths than his counterpart, Kendall Patrick.
Well, Kendall Patrick also has a bit of power. Then again, Gage Green does have 5 home runs, so they're even in that stat. Ball low and away, 1-0. Kendall Patrick going to go out and try and settle down the junior. Kendall Patrick, of course, a senior. This his last series here in Ann Arbor. Michigan, of course, always opts to have a non-conference series to finish things up at home so that they can do senior day properly, play some of the guys, start some of the guys that normally don't get to play too much in the very important conference games. Saw last year they played Kansas at home. This year, Oklahoma State. Evan Hill's ready for the 1-0. Curveball, down and in, 2-0.
That one just missed. Good eye there by Gage Green.
Yeah, the way that broke, it looked like it broke around the corner of the strike zone, started on the inside corner, and then ended up over the plate, but too low. 2-0 pitch. Down and away, 3-0. Evan Hill struggling to find the zone with basically everything. Curveballs, fastballs, and even the changeups are not finding it for him.
Yeah, Evan Hill has thrown 83 pitches, and 43 of those have been balls. Those are not good numbers.
3-0 pitch. Down low, ball 4. Bases loaded after consecutive walks.
I think that might be the end of the day for Evan Hill. Oliver Jaski getting loose once again in the Wolverines bullpen. I would not be surprised if he came in right now or very shortly. Evan Hill buying some time. Coach Bakich staying put for now.
Still has the clipboard in hand, so he might be sticking with the starter. Normally, if he's going to change pitchers, he lets the catcher go out and waste a little bit of time and then sets the – well, now the clipboard goes down. He's heading out. Bakich moseying on out there, taking his time, going to give Jaski a few extra warm-up pitches. Still hasn't given a sign. Probably will wait until he gets to the mound.
And it indeed will be Oliver Jaski. He'll trot in from the bullpen, and a pitching change for the Wolverines. 1 out here in the top of the 4th. Bases loaded. Tough situation for the freshman left-hander. 6'3", 205 pounds out of Ada, Michigan. We last saw him just 2 days ago. That was against Eastern Michigan. Pitched 1 inning. Gave up 2 hits, 2 runs, but those were not earned due to the error by Hector Gutierrez. That day's starting shortstop, and again in the lineup today. 1 walk, 2 strikeouts in that appearance. Overall, 4.78 ERA. 2-0 on the year, 26 1/3 innings pitched, 25 hits, 18 runs, 14 of those earned, 30 straight strikeouts against 18 walks. Struggle with some extra base power. 10 extra base hits, 7 doubles, 2 triples, 1 home run. That will bring up Donnie Walton, the number 2 hitter in this Cowboys lineup. Hardest hit ball of the day belongs to Walton. Hit it about a third of the way up that left field wall. Made a bid for a home run in the first, but unable to get out, and it ended up coming around to score.
Takes a mighty hit to get it over that brick monster. 25 feet. The height of that wall. Walton is a switch hitter. First switch hitter we've seen in quite some time here at Ray Fisher Stadium this season. He's had to bat right. Both of his first 2 at-bats today, he'll be batting on the right-hand side yet again for Oliver Jaski.
He'll go over a few last-minute instructions with pitching coach Rob Walton. Just getting the scouting report on Jaski. Also trying to time him up in that on-deck circle. Bases are loaded here for the Cowboys. There's only 1 out In the top of the fourth, Williams on third, Chappelle on second, Green on first. Williams doubled, then back-to-back walks to Chappelle and Green have loaded him up.
So it looks like Jaski's ready. Kendall Patrick going to give some instructions to the infield and return to his catcher's box behind the plate. This is a key moment for Oliver Jaski. Can he come in and shut down the Cowboys with the bases loaded and 1 out? Already trailing by 4 here in the 4th inning. First pitch, line drive down the left field line. That one's just foul into the Michigan bullpen.
He came with a breaking ball and gave that one right down the middle to Donnie Walton. That's not where you want to leave it for Walton. 9 extra base hits on the year, 6 doubles, 1 triple, 2 home runs. Also hits for average .323.
0-1 up high. Jaski throws quite a bit harder than Evan Hill. Evan Hill has a quicker motion, but sometimes it's not the motion so much as what you put behind it. And Jaski really gets a lot more push off that back leg. 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss on the off speed right over the heart of the plate, going fastball changeup, count 1-2. He checks third and comes set. The pitch. Inner half, down low. Count moves to 2-2.
And that's 4 straight breaking balls to start off the at-bat for Oliver Jaski. Two and 2 on Donnie Walton here. Big pitch.
Here it is. Pop up and out of play, back towards us. Count stays put. The Vultures are circling. Those Vultures, of course, the Oklahoma State Cowboys standing on the bases. They're ready to go for the kill shot here if Walton is able to get one on the ground to the outfield.
I think they take one in the air to the outfield to score a run on a sacrifice fly. I know they have Michael Freeman on the mound. And if you give Michael Freeman 5 runs, you pretty much locked up yourself the win. Obviously nothing guaranteed, but a standout pitcher.
2-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Big strikeout for Oliver Jaski. Backdoor curve there. Donnie Walton, the .323 hitter, getting just a little bit confused at the plate and giving the Wolverines 2 outs here in the top of the 4th and a chance to get out of it. Daylight at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, this would be big here for the Wolverines, but the threat is not over. Arakawa has reached base twice today. He was hit by a pitch in the first, also singled in the third.
Tim Arakawa takes outside, ball 1. Jaski going with the ball just as soon as he got a nice strikeout. And you know, the story of Evan Hill's day was falling behind. He threw more balls than he did strikes. Jaski needs to have a little bit different success. Curveball in.
Jaski's really been trusting his breaking ball so far. You saw him get the strikeout on that breaking ball, and the majority of the pitches he's thrown so far have been off speed.
Curveball in for a strike, 1-1. He comes set. Steps off, didn't like what he saw from Kendall Patrick. Arakawa steps out, takes a swing, steps back in, trying to control the pace, now calls time, just trying to keep everyone here a little bit longer.
Yeah, veteran savvy from the senior second baseman.
1-1 pitch, popped up. Straight up for Kendall Patrick. He's camped out under it. And it drops right in front of the plate. Bounces back into foul territory, so it's a foul ball. Not sure what happened there. He must have just lost it in the clouds. You know, looking down there, it looked like the runners kind of got in his field of vision coming around, you know, maybe the peripheries, and he Might have taken his eye off the ball, afraid that he was going to get hit as they were running in. Of course, he has the path to the ball. That's guaranteed, especially if, the runners have already scored. But nothing but a foul ball as it, kind of landed right in front of the plate. The backspin carried it into foul territory. So 1-2 for Tim Arakawa. The pitch outside. Curveball breaking away, 2-2.
Yeah, I really don't know what happened with Kendall Patrick there. It looked like they're going to get out of the inning, but just missed it.
Jaski comes set as he checks the runner third. Delivers. In the dirt, ball 3. Bases loaded and 2 outs. The runners are going to be moving. Tim Arakawa looks to add a few RBIs if he can put one on the ground in the outfield. 2, maybe 3 coming. Jesse checks the runner and comes set. Comes home with it. Swing and a miss. Jaski fist pump as he comes off the mound. 2 strikeouts to get out of the jam. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Wolverines trail 4-0, but again, keeping it close as they can. Looking to find some success against Michael Freeman. Coming up, you're listening to WCBN Sports. Eli Sherman, Andrew Hausman here for the first of a 3-game set. Wolverines and the Oklahoma State Cowboys.
Yeah, huge strikeouts by Oliver Jaski, and that's what these non-conference games are for. The Wolverines are trying to gear up for that Big Ten tournament, and if you can have a weapon like Oliver Jaski feeling confident coming out of the bullpen, he's had his ups and downs this year. As we mentioned, gave out a pair of runs against Eastern Michigan, but when Oliver Jaski is on, he is on. And as you saw there, back-to-back strikeouts, got the Williams out of jam. That keeps them in the game. Still, obviously, you have to face off against Michael Freeman, but they've done a good job getting Michael Freeman's pitch count up. He's at 45 through 3 innings, so if they can chase him early from the game, just try and knock in 1 or 2 runs, have a chance to get back in the game against this Cowboys bullpen. Obviously, a very good bullpen as well, but
to counter that, I'd actually say that 45 through 3 innings is pretty good. Major league average is 16 and a half per inning. If you're throwing 15 per inning and you're striking out as many as he is, 4 strikeouts through 3, that's a pretty good job by the senior so far. Michigan, this is going to be a key inning. They have the heart of their order, 3, 4, 5 coming up. Glines, Benedetti, and Bruder. I think Glines needs to jump on Freeman right here and give it to Benedetti. Ideally put himself on second base and give Benedetti a chance to get him in and tack on a 64th RBI this season.
Yeah, these were the 3, 4, 5 hitters that did not look good in that first inning after the first 2 runners got on.
First pitch down low. That's a good start. Ball 1. Now the 1-0 pitch. Wineland delivers. Just catches the inside corner. Another off speed, 76 miles an hour out of the hands of Freeman.
Glines had that fielder's choice. Then Benedetti struck out swinging before Bruder grounded out, and that ended the threat for the Wolverines.
1-1 fouled right off the front of his foot. Seems all right, though. Not nursing the toe or anything, so the count 1-2 with Glines and a step back in.
Now with 2 strikes, the Cowboys will shift just a little bit, playing lefty to go the opposite way.
Michael Freeman winds and delivers. 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Oh, that was dirty. He made Jackson Glines look silly on that one.
That's called pulling a string right there. You could see it coming, but obviously Jackson Glines could not. And as you mentioned, just looked very silly. He'll head back down to the dugout, unable to get the leadoff man here. Carmen Benedetti will step to the plate with 1 out.
Wolverines' Big Ten leading offense, just 2 hits through 3 1/3 here. Strike 1 to Benedetti. Just a shade below 300 at 297. Their batting average also lead the Big Ten in hits and doubles. Swing and a miss by Benedetti. 0-2 now the count.
You can't fault them too much when they are facing off against a batter that allows a 184 batting average against. Less than a walk and a hit per inning pitched.
Curveball down low.
You know,
Nice
pitchers
pitch
are
to try
doing.
and get him to chase there.
You know, pitchers are doing well when they have a whip, which is walk and hit per inning pitched under 1, and Freeman sitting at .88.
Swing and a miss. Another off speed. Didn't have to throw a single fastball on that at bat. And another strikeout. That's 6 for Michael Freeman. Bruder
Oh, but he's
comes
not
to
a
the plate.
strikeout pitcher, is he, Eli?
Well, maybe he's not a strikeout pitcher in general. But this game, he certainly turned into one. Michigan.
Coming into the game, it's 77 strikeouts in 85 innings, Eli. I'm holding with my assertion that he is a strikeout pitcher.
He's a ground out pitcher. Let's face it.
I'll run the numbers real quick here, but
Well, let's look at it this way.
8.1 strikeouts per 9 innings. I'd say that's a strikeout pitcher coming into the game.
Let's look at it this way. He has 77 strikeouts on the season, 134 ground ball outs. What we can't agree on is he's not a fly ball pitcher. 87% of his outs have come on fly balls. There's one right there as Bruder lifts one with decent distance to center field, but easily tracked by the center fielder, Hassel. And so 3 up, 3 down yet again for the Wolverines. We go to the top of the 5th, still 4-0.
Just to clarify that one, he's not a fly ball pitcher, but 87% of his outs have become via ground ball or strikeout. You said they had come via fly ball, so just not to confuse our listeners there.
No, 32 fly ball outs. That one, 33. I was going to say Evan Hill back on the mound. Oliver Jaske back on the mound for the Wolverines. We'll reset you real quick. Oklahoma State got out to an early 3-0 lead in the first inning. Evan Hill loaded the bases and then allowed Oklahoma State to get to him. Things stayed at 3-0 till the 3rd when Oklahoma State added one. After Evan Hill struggled again, he got pulled in the 4th inning. Oliver Jaske came in and shut things down, got 2 strikeouts, starting with 1 out and the bases loaded. And the Wolverines got 2 in the first and have gotten nothing since. Michael Freeman has retired 12 straight in this one. It's going to bring up Connor Costello, 252 hitter on the season. He's 0 for 1, has a strikeout and a walk. Got stranded at 3rd back in the first inning. Oklahoma State 4 runs on 5 hits, no errors. 5 left, excuse me. Strike 1. That one in at the knees. Wolverines, no runs on 2 hits, an error, and 2 left. 0-1 pitch way up high. A fastball misses. 1-1 the count.
Jaske has not been able to place his fastball here today. His breaking balls looked a little more consistent.
Strike 2. That one another off speed. Both pitchers in the game right now, Jaske and Freeman, have relied very heavily on that off speed. Here's the 1-2. Just got a little bit inside on him, held on to it too long, and came in low, 2-2.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. That gun is well off. That one came at 79, but definitely was a fastball. Upper 80s, even maybe 90 miles an hour.
2-2 down low. Count moves full 3-2. That is something that Ray Fisher Stadium really has lacked these last couple of years. You know, it is one of the nicer stadiums in the Big Ten, yet it lacks the technology of a fully functional radar gun. Doesn't have anything fixed and well calibrated behind the plate as the big leagues and some of the bigger programs. Ground ball to the left side. This is a tough play for Bivens. Fields and fires to first. Nice play there to get the out. Quick throw coming from Bivens. So 1 away. And Jaske continues his early success in this relief appearance. That brings up Corey Hassel, 2 RBIs on the day, and a single in the first, triple last inning, in the third. That one hopped the wall in right center field, a few feet to the right of the Big Ten title sign. Strike one in at the knees. Fastball from Jaski. Jaski from the windup takes a deep breath, winds and fires. Ooh, that looked close. Must have been low, not quite sure. Curveball from Jaski misses for a ball, 1-1. The delivery. Line drive, just foul. Landed 3 or 4 inches off the line on the third base side. Bounced into the outfield. That would have been a double with ease for the center fielder.
Yeah, looking for the cycle here today, off to a good start. A single and a triple. That one could have easily been 2.
Here's a 1-2 pitch, down low, 2-2. Hassel, a right-handed hitter, sporting a chain around the neck in the batter's box. 2-2 pitch. Line drive to second base, caught by Jacob Cronenworth. Just as it started to drop, Cronenworth, nice play getting there and catching a really hard hit line drive, 2 away in the 5th.
Yeah, that was sinking too. And if he had just stood where he was, it would have definitely got down. It would have been a very difficult play to try and get Hassel, but instead able to charge hard and get it before it hits the turf.
Wolverines keeping it close, swing and a miss. Change up there. Our favorite usher, Dino, walking across the stands, giving the waves to the fans that he knows. Gives us a look up here. Fastball outside, 1-1. 3 batters this inning. All 3 have seen a first pitch strike and a second pitch ball. Jaski's ready. The delivery. Inside, 2-1. Right side of the infield playing relatively deep. Cronenworth and Benedetti right along the skin of the outfield grass. Hector Gutierrez at short is playing about the same. Just on the green. Bivens at third playing average depth. Ball 3 down low.
Really a good pitch, but maybe just a little bit low for Sales Giacomo Antonio's liking. A little bit of a distorted view from up here in the press box. Pretty much straight behind home plate.
Here's the 3-1. That one's down low. He's on with a 2-out walk. It's going to bring up Sluter. Ryan Sluter popped out to second to end the first inning and flew out to Jackson Glines back in the 4th. Ryan Sluter, big uppercut swing. He's the guy with the closed stance, as Andrew Hausman so eloquently pointed out last inning. Gives me the thumbs up. Ball 1 inside. Jaski, again, needs to control the zone, something that Evan Hill was unable to do. He comes set, checks the runner at first, checks him again. The pitch. In the dirt, 2-0.
And as you noted, with that closed stance, notably a pull hitter, and that's where the Wolverines are playing him. Only shaded just slightly for the righty to pull.
Final line for Evan Hill, 3 1/3, 5 hits, three earned runs, 4 total, 4 strikeouts, 4 walks, 84 pitches.
And only 8 and 40 strikes.
Strike in at the knees. Nice pitch to even up the count. Jaski comes set. The pitch outside, ball 3. Sluter steps back in. Throws over.
Petrino not much of a base stealing threat. 2 of 2 on the year in limited action. This is 12th start of the year. Has played 33 ball games.
Petrino was in safely on that one. Ball 4 outside. And consecutive walks after getting the first 2 hitters in this one. So Oklahoma State now threatening. Here in the top of the 5th, it's going to bring up the left-handed hitter, Dustin Williams. Williams 1 for 1 on the day. Had a double to right center field in the 4th inning. Got stranded at 3rd after Jaski came in and struck out the last 2 hitters to get the Wolverines out of the jam. Also walked in the 1st. Jaski comes set, checks the runner at 2nd, delivers. Oh, I don't know where that was. Must have been a little bit high, I guess, but that was close, right over the heart of the plate. Fastball misses for a ball, 1-0. Jaski taking his time and comes set. The pitch. Curveball in there for a strike. Looked like the same spot. 1-1.
That was one for Dustin Williams to drive for his 2nd double of the game. I don't know what he was looking for there. That's a hang breaking ball, if you're asking one.
1-1 pitch. Fastball in at the knees, strike 2. And Jaski could get out of this one without any damage. Needs a strike here. Runners on 1st and 2nd, a 4-0 lead for the Cowboys. We're in the 5th. 1-2 pitch. He got him looking. Outside corner with a fastball. Paints the black. Oliver Jaski, 3 strikeouts. In 1 2/3, we head to the bottom of the 5th. Wolverines trailing 4-0 here. They've kept it close. Momentum continuing to swing back and forth. Wolverines need to find a way to get to Michael Freeman, who's been sensational. He's retired the last 12 hitters of the Wolverines. It's going to be Mazes, White, and Patrick for the Wolverines. Travis Mazes, Kevin White, and Kendall Patrick all 0 for 1 on the day. Only 2 hits for the Wolverines came in the 1st. Cronenworth and Bivens got things started, and then Michael Freeman said, no more. Back on my leash. Freeman has thrown 54 pitches through 4 innings. The Wolverines got to be anxious offensively. They're aware of what this series could mean if they're able to win it, get at least 2. That would make a huge difference in the RPI right now. They're sitting at 83 in the country. That's not going to cut it for an at-large bid, but if they were able to sweep the number 13 team in the country, the number 2 team in the Big 12, that would go a long way in terms of catapulting them back up into relevance RPI-wise, make them much more of a bubble team, improving their resume. Strike 1 on the outside corner to Travis Mazes.
I think a sweep would indeed be a very, very, very tall order for this Wolverine squad. I think if they can nab 1 and avoid injuries, it'll be a successful series, as I mentioned before.
Freeman deals low, 1-1. Mazes, not a hard thrower.
Mazes not a hard thrower?
Excuse me. Freeman, not a hard thrower, but he has success. Mazes a very hard thrower from the third base side. We heard he was an all-star pitcher back in high school. Of course, playing infield here. He takes strike 2 on the outside corner. The pitch in the dirt, 2-2. What's the key to getting to Freeman? Is it extending at bats or is it aggression? 2-2 down low, 3-2.
I think it's definitely extending at bats. You see his ability to work deep into games, and even if you can't get to him, you at least got to try and get him out of the game. And also, he's just so good at picking his spots.
Payoff, grounder to the right side. Looks like it's going foul. It does. Took a while to come down after a high chop.
He does such a good job of changing the eye level, mixing up his pitches, that if you try and come after him really aggressively, he's going to just set you down looking silly like Jackson Glines did last inning. And you got to have a really patient approach. Travis Mays has had a good at-bat so far, but now it's time to make Freeman pay and line a single to the outfield.
3-2 pitch. Line drive, foul. Off the net, in on the hands. He got jammed. He were a little bit more ahead of the pitch. It would have been good. He hit it hard. 3-2. Up high, ball 4, and the Wolverines have a chance of getting to him. And now with a runner on, first one in 12 hitters.
And I'd like to remind you that Eli's bold guarantee is shattered. He promised us that Freeman would not walk a batter today.
I didn't promise. I said I'm calling it.
Nonetheless, a runner is on, and an exceptional walk rate for Michael Freeman, just a little bit above 2 per 9 innings. So very rare, but indeed Mays shows some patience and draws a walk.
First pitch to Kevin White, and at the knees, strike 1. And Freeman, you'd have to expect that when he allows a walk, that's when he's really going to buckle down and say, nope, I got to go for the strikes. I got to make them beat me.
And then here's a chance to come out maybe a little more aggressively, but instead Kevin White shows the patience, and as you mentioned, Michael Freeman wants them to beat him, and he deals 2 quick strikes to Kevin White. Not a good recipe for Kevin White, especially to be down 0-2.
Freeman checks Mazes. 0-2 pitch outside, ball 1. I wouldn't be surprised if Freeman hasn't allowed 2 walks in the same inning all season. You, of course, don't have the game-by-game or inning-by-inning statistics, but when you've only allowed 22 walks in almost 90 innings. Ball gets away from the catcher, Gage Green. Mazes jogs over to second base. Count evens up at 2-2.
Yeah, I was going to say if this is a healthy Travis Mazes, I would think about sending him. They didn't need to there as the ball got away. I think that'll be a passed ball. We'll see what the official scoring ruling on that one is. But as you mentioned, Eli, he just kind of trots down to second base. You can tell he's not even close to 100%. I wouldn't be surprised if this might be his only game of the weekend. Just trying to get some game action. Maybe he'll come out for one more, but you really just got to rest him and get ready for that Big Ten opener on Wednesday.
Yeah, Mazes needs to stretch things out, keep things loose over the next couple of days. 2-2. He got him looking. Curveball. Looked like it was going outside. Kevin White checks swing and makes the mistake there as it cuts back in over the plate. And a really nice pitch from Michael Freeman, continuing to just own Wolverines hitting today. He's going to bring up Kendall Patrick with 1 out. Travis Mays is standing on second base.
Yeah, I think this is the tightest breaking ball I've seen at the college level. I've been very impressed with Michael Freeman. We obviously knew what he was capable of coming in, and he's lived up to the hype so far.
First pitch to Kendall Patrick. Fastball hits the outside corner. 0-1. And, you know, one of the keys to that breaking ball is because he has somewhat of a sidearm delivery, that curveball, as a fan, is kind of yelling obscenities at the umpire just in front of us. 0-1 down low. That curveball isn't a 12-6 curveball by any means. It really cuts in on the hands of the right-handed hitters, and you know, it's a lot harder to track as it has much more lateral movement than most pitchers, you know, these hitters are used to seeing. 1-1 the count for Kendall Patrick. Curveball just low, 2-1.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't a pure curveball, but more of a slurve, getting some of that horizontal movement as well.
Yeah, getting the fingers on top, but also on the outside of the ball, being able to get that side spin. 2-1 pitch. Grounder up the middle, chop to the shortstop. Jumping and fielding it is Walton. Makes a nice throw to get Kendall Patrick at first base. Reaching out, making the stretch. Dustin Williams, the first baseman. They're 2 away. Travis Mazes moves up to third. He's going to bring up Hector Gutierrez. Here's his chance to prove himself. He's hit well in the insignificant moments this season, hitting .500 with runners on, .600 with runners in scoring position, but that in only 17 at bats. Struck out looking in the third without putting up a swing. First pitch to Gutierrez, curveball down low.
And perhaps if there's any other player in this Wolverines lineup besides Kendall Patrick, you'd see him reach on an infield single, but as we've mentioned, not the fleetest of foot.
1-0. Misses on the inner half. That one looked pretty close, too.
Gutierrez has shown the ability to draw a walk. 4 walks and only 21 plate appearances here.
2-0 pitch. Down low. 3-0.
And Freeman's done something a couple times is that you don't see every day, especially out of a left-hander, is where he glances at Mays at third base while he's going into his delivery.
3-0 pitch. That one inside, and Hector Gutierrez on with a walk. And earlier I said that I wouldn't be surprised if Freeman hadn't had 2 walks in an inning all season. We see it right there, and now the catcher, Gage Green, going to go out and have a conversation, try and settle down his senior pitcher.
Yeah, what's really startling about that one is to walk the number 9 batter, Hector Gutierrez, on 4 pitches. The one to Mazes was excusable. He's more of a veteran player. He did a really good job fouling off a number of pitches. I believe he fouled off 3 in a row with 2 strikes before finally taking ball 4. So that was forgivable. But to walk Gutierrez, the inexperienced sophomore, only, as we mentioned, only 17 at bats all year on 4 pitches, a little bit of warning signs for Michael Freeman.
So that brings up Cronenworth, 1 for 2 on the day. First pitch to him. Cuts outside and misses for a ball. 1-0, 5 straight balls out of the hand of Michael Freeman. Bivens standing on deck. He's 1 for 2 as well. Cronenworth and Bivens, the only hits for the Wolverines today. A hit would score the Wolverines first. Strike 1, paints the outside corner.
Those have been 2 devastating breaking balls so far from Michael Freeman.
Cronenworth steps back in with a 1-1 count. Cronenworth, a left-handed hitter. Bivens the same. Squares to bunt, gets it down, but it goes back and behind the net over the catcher's head and foul ball.
Can't say I agree with that move. Interesting with 2 outs, and also remember you don't have a very quick runner on third base, so if that one goes right back to Freeman, he can either flip it over to first base, or if Cronenworth is really motoring, you probably got Mazes in a rundown at third base.
Well, the third baseman, Chappelle, is standing pretty deep there. Freeman misses away 2-2. If you're able to get a bunt kind of into the no man's land between the mound and the third baseline, about halfway between home and third, and get it to settle there, then you got a chance at beating out an infield single. Mazes doesn't actually have to go anywhere. Now a grounder to second. This should end it. Easy play for Arakawa. Flips to first. And the Wolverines are out in the 5th. We head to the 6th. Wolverines trail 4-0 against the Oklahoma State Cowboys. You're listening to WCBN Sports. Eli Sherman, Andrew Hausman here for the first of a 3-game weekend set non-conference to close things out on the regular season here in 2015. Wolverines will be heading to Minnesota on Wednesday. Their first game Thursday afternoon in Minneapolis. Oklahoma State, on the other hand, they're going to be playing in the Big 12 tournament. That starts next weekend as well. Big 12 tournament being played in being played in Tulsa this year. Oniak Field, hosted by the Tulsa Green Wave. Jasky coming back out to the mound.
Yeah, perhaps
for another inning.
A lot of fan support will be present in Tulsa for these Cowboys. That's only about an hour drive away from their home campus in Stillwater. Stillwater more in central to western Oklahoma, Tulsa more in the east, but still should be a pretty rowdy home support. Oklahoma State will be watching those scores as both Texas Tech and Oklahoma have a chance to pass them for that number 2 seed. See how those results play out, and we'll also see how the results play out for Michigan. Michigan currently standing in 6th, but we could see if if Ohio State, Maryland, or Michigan State, any of those teams lose 2, Michigan could sneak into a 4th or 5th seed.
Jacob Chappelle, a third baseman and 9-hitter at the plate, takes the first pitch down low. Chappelle, a righty. Jaski winds and fires. Inside, nearly hit him 2-0.
I gotta say, I'm kind of surprised the Wolverines don't have anyone warming up in the bullpen just yet. Jaski already had 37 pitches. You wouldn't want to really wear out this arm.
Jaski has thrown well, though. 2-0 pitch, squares to bunt, pulls back. It's in there for a strike. And the count at 2-1. Jaski winds and fires. Curveball inside. That pause you heard just a moment ago as the air went dead was because Hausman and I were in disbelief as we've gotten the out-of-town score sheet.
Get you updated right after this pitch.
Deep breath and a pitch from Jaski. 3-1 down low, ball 4. Hausman, what happened?
I was stunned when I was handed this sheet. Rutgers able to knock off Iowa, true at home. Rutgers its 5th Big Ten win of the year. Iowa only their 3rd Big Ten loss. That will pretty much knock Iowa out of contention for that regular season Big Ten title. They were right up there with Illinois. Had a chance to maybe get there if Nebraska was able to knock off Illinois. Illinois has been one of the hottest teams in the country.
Squaring to bunt is Cage Green. Flipped to first by Jaski. He's out. But moving over to second is Chappelle.
And we'll get you updated with the rest of these scores at the next inning break. But we had to share that one with you. Very surprising results in Piscataway, New Jersey.
That's going to bring up Donnie Walton. Right-handed hitter, 1 for 3 on the day. Struck out in the 4th. A ground out to third in the 3rd. And a double and a score. He's the 2-hitter. Couldn't have let off the first. A double in the 1st. And scored the first run of the day. Ball up high, the first pitch from Jaski.
Yeah, it's kind of surprised that they went with small ball there. That looked like a straight-up sacrifice bunt, not a bunt for a base hit. Maybe Green just misplayed it.
Swing and a miss. Down low on a curveball from Jaski.
And though I mentioned that Freeman's breaking ball is one of the best I've ever seen out of a college pitcher, it's probably the best I've ever seen of Oliver Jaski this season. So his breaking ball has really looked sharp, and he's needed to be because his fastball has not really been hitting the spots.
1-1 pitch in there for a strike. Fastball right in at the knees over the heart of the plate. Jaski, of course, a freshman. 4.45 ERA, pretty respectable for a first season of work, particularly given the fact that he's pitched primarily out of the bullpen. 28 1/3 innings on the season. 1-2 pitch to Walt. Swinging a ground ball left side. Fielded by Bivens on a hop. Throws to first. He got the out. Chappelle stays put, I should say, at second base.
Good play there by Bivens to look Chappelle back to second base, then take his time and fire a strong throw over Benedetti for the second out of the inning.
And now, with 2 away, Tim Arakawa comes to the plate. He struck out in the 4th. That got Jaski out of the jam. Jaski comes set. Arakawa a lefty. He squares to bunt, pulls back as it's a strike. Harrison Wenson down in the bullpen, doing some stretches.
Getting ready to warm up the next Wolverines pitcher that will get loose in the bullpen.
Jaski comes set and checks the runner. Comes home with it. Ooh, close pitch. And the couple dozen umpires that paid to get in the game behind home plate are sharing their ire with Sal Giacomantonio. 1-1 the count.
I can't say it's been the most consistent strike zone all game long. Definitely both sides, but both
1-1 up and in.
Pitchers on both sides dealing with inconsistent strike zones. We've seen some really nice breaking balls out of the hand of Michael Freeman on the other side that really looked like they should be called strikes, but they haven't. And then both sides have also received some kind of mind-boggling strike calls that looked well off the plate.
Here's the 2-1. Swing a foul back, 2-2. That one not quite high enough to get over the net and come our way, but we'll keep you posted if it ever does. 2-2, 2 outs, runner on second.
Chappelle with good speed, 6 for 6 on stolen bases, and with 2 outs here, should score on any sort of base hits to the outfield.
The pitch. Swinging a ground ball fouled on the first base line. That one, a curveball out of the hand of Jaski. Count stays where it is at 2-2.
Outfield playing the lefty Arakawa to go the opposite way. Glinds at the top left corner of that M out there in center field.
2-2 pitch. Swinging a fly ball to right field. That's trouble. Down at the bottom of the wall. On the fly, hitting that one. In with a sliding double. Didn't need to slide on that one, but does anyways. Tim Arakawa with a 2-out double and scores the run from second. 5-0. The score here. Cowboys on top. Chappelle coming in. It's going to bring up Connor Costello. He's over 2.
Costello did draw a walk in that first inning and ended up scoring on the error by Cronenworth.
First pitch to Costello. Hits the outside corner for a strike. Costello looked like he was taking all the way. It's not too uncommon to see a guy that always takes the first pitch just so he knows what's coming. Costello, a .252 hitter on the season, playing right field. Curveball misses. 0-1.
You have to wonder if Jaski's tiring a bit here. 53 pitches thrown. He's starting to open up his delivery just a little bit and not hitting his spots much with his breaking ball.
1-1 the count. 2 outs, runner on second. Curveball hits for a strike. 1-2.
And just as I say that, one of his better breaking balls we've seen all night, but you saw how he kept a little tighter on his delivery. And on the previous pitch, he had come a little bit open, and that can cause you to leave the balls up, especially the breaking balls. Don't want to allow those hanging breaking balls, but that time came back with the compact delivery and got the called strike.
Here's the 1-2. Fly ball to left field. Going back. Bruder at the track. That one's gone. 2-run home run for Connor Costello. And the Wolverines now trail 7-0. Cowboys laying it on thick. Wolverines still have no answer.
And that's what happens when you hang a breaking ball to the Cowboys cleanup hitter. He had just come back. He had hung one earlier in the count that Costello wasn't able to take advantage of, then came back with a really sharp one that hit the knees, but that one left it right up over the plate, and Costello drove that to a very deep part of the ballpark. Probably hit that one right about 380 to 390 feet. Very impressive home run by Costello, and that's probably put the game out of reach here in the top of the 6th.
Brings up Corey Hassel. 2 for 3. Squares to bunt. Bunts down the first base line. Just foul. Looked like a good attempt there. Would have had to draw Carmen Benedetti in to make the play, and Jaski probably wouldn't have gotten there in time, but it squirts to the outside of the baseline.
And our listeners might be surprised that we're already counting the Wolverines out of the game with their opponent offense. 7 runs isn't necessarily a lot for them, but when you're playing such a high-caliber opponent like the Oklahoma State Cowboys, and especially with Michael Freeman on the mound, he's been dominant so far this year and especially this game. 7-0 will be a big deficit to come back for the Wolverines.
Jaski delivers. Up high, 1-1. 3 in the first, 1 in the third, and 3 here in the sixth. Wolverine zeros across the board. 1-1. That one hits for a strike. Nice curveball from Jaski. Counted 1-2 with 2 outs. Trying to finish things up here in the sixth without any further damage. 1-2 pitch. Check swing in the dirt. He got him. They appeal to first base. And Corey Hassel could not hold up. But Oklahoma State, 3 runs on 2 hits, including the solid home run, just getting over the wall in left center field by Connor Costello. And the Wolverines trail 7-0. Oklahoma State 7 runs on 6 hits and no errors. Wolverines, no runs, 2 hits, an error for them. They're going to have to figure something out, and they're going to have to do it quick because Michael Freeman is in a groove, and he's not going to let up. Would not be surprised to see him go 1 or 2 more. He's at 80 pitches right now. If he has a quick inning or 2, he could be in line for a potential complete game. Andrew, going to give us the out-of-town scores.
And as we mentioned, the stunner in Piscataway, 5-3 the final score. Rutgers over Iowa. And we didn't, I'll give you actually updated Big Ten standings, as that was actually Rutgers' 6th Big Ten victory and Iowa's 4th Big Ten loss. Other scores, a very favorable result for the Wolverines. 1-0 the final in Evanston. Northwestern knocks off the Terrapins, and that's exactly the result the Wolverines needed. They need Maryland to lose 2 for the Wolverines to pass them in the Big Ten standings. The Wolverines do have the tiebreaker by virtue of taking 2 of 3 here in Ann Arbor earlier this year. That would be big if Northwestern can get 1 more of the remaining 2 in that series. Also, Purdue has closed out a victory against Penn State, 8-2 the final there in West Lafayette. Nebraska visiting the Big Ten leaders, Illinois. The Fighting Illini lead the Huskers 2-0 in the top of the 4th. Still to be played later this evening, Michigan State visits Minnesota, and Ohio State visits Indiana.
Jake Bivens at the plate. Takes a curveball and then at the knees for a strike. Bivens, Glines, and Benedetti. 2-3-4. Yet again for the Wolverines. They've struggled so far today, swinging a grounder foul. Count quickly 0-2.
Yeah, Bivens really the only hard hit ball that came in the first inning, right back up the middle. Extended his hitting streak, to 12 games. But since then, the Wolverines do not have a hit. That was the second batter of the game. They did get a couple of men on last inning with 2 walks, but no hits.
0-2 pitch, line foul into the Michigan bullpen. Wolverines 1 through 5 hitters are combined 2 for 11 today. On the season, their averages 344, 341, 352, 376, and 301 coming into the game. Ball down low, 2-2.
Cam Wysocki warming up there in the Wolverines bullpen. He will likely be the new pitcher in the top of the 7th.
1-2 pitch. Soft one, popped up, foul. Should be an easy play for the third baseman, Chappelle. He's under it and makes the catch. 1 away.
And that's what you get with the late movement that you see from Michael Freeman. Just exceptional movement on his pitches. Had Bivens reaching for that one. He thought he was going to square that one up. Instead, had to reach out across his body, make the adjustment as the pitch was coming to the plate. And just, as Eli mentioned, very soft contact, easy pop out off the bat of Jake Bivens.
Lines comes to the plate, takes the first pitch for a strike. He struggled as well, grounded into a fielder's choice in the first, and struck out in the 4th. Freeman winds and delivers. 0-1 pitch. Line drive, that one foul. Takes a 1 hop and hits a fan that's on his cell phone.
Shows you should always pay attention at the ballpark. I don't think he's too shaken up.
One could argue that he deserved that soft tap on the ball as Glines lines one to the second baseman. Arakawa makes the catch. 2 away. The man on the phone somewhat deserves it. The love tap, given the fact that he's on the phone and not paying attention, but that's one man's opinion.
And a line drive finally up the Wolverines' bats. Finally square something up, but still very soft contact. Didn't quite get the barrel of the bat on that one. And that was a pretty easy catch for Arakawa over at second base.
Benedetti steps in. He has 2 strikeouts on the day. When's the last time that he was 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts in the bottom of the 6th of a game? 1-0. Hits for a strike. Nice job to paint low and away, right in at the knees on the black. 1-1. Swinging a grounder, chopped to the first baseman. 1 hop, fielded by Williams. Steps on first, and Freeman is through 6. Has allowed 2 hits to the Wolverines and nothing more. We head to the 7th. You're listening to WCBN Sports. Eli Sherman and Andrew Hausman here. 7 runs on 6 hits for the Cowboys, none on 2 and an error for the Michigan Wolverines. Things are not looking good here in Ann Arbor. And I'm not talking about the weather.
And it indeed will be a new pitcher for the Wolverines. Mac Lozier will tape a hop, skip, and a jump over that foul line and take the mound.
You were right the first time. That's Cam Wysocki out there.
Always get those 2 confused.
One wears 28, one wears 29. Can't blame you on that.
Yeah, whenever I was impressed that I identified him correctly down in the bullpen. It's hard to see him down there, and it will be Cam Wysocki. So Wysocki, 3.57 ERA, 0-1 on the year, 1 save. That was last Friday against Northwestern. Got a rare 3-inning save as he came in for the last 3 innings of that rain-delayed game. 17 2/3 innings pitched, 16 hits, 9 runs, 7 of those earned, 10 strikeouts against 9 walks. 2 extra base hits, 1 double, 1 home run on the year. And he will look to limit any further damage. Eli, what do you make of the appearance of Oliver Jaski? He looked really good in the early going, but then really struggled in that 6th inning and gave up 3 runs, including the moonshot to Costello.
Well, first of all, I wouldn't say it's a moonshot, but that's semantic at this point. However, Oliver Jaski, I don't think that this is one that you can chalk up as him really having a rough outing. I think it's more that Jaski was facing off against a really tough team, and you might be able to go for a while without giving them too much to work with, but eventually they're going to get to you. They hit well, they have good power, and it's only so long that you can keep them at bay. And on the other hand, he didn't have any runs to work with to give him some confidence going from inning to inning. This offense, as we mentioned, has been absolutely stymied by the pitching of the masterful pitching of Michael Freeman for the Oklahoma State Cowboys.
And Michael Freeman still only with 91 pitches through 6, so we could see him for perhaps 1 more inning. I don't think he'll get a complete game, and no need to burn out his arm with the Big 12 tournament coming up, but a very solid warm-up start from Michael Freeman. Assuming he goes 1 more, his day could be done. We do see some stirring in the Cowboys bullpen out there in right field. We see a number of pitchers getting loose. No one has taken off their warm-up jersey yet, so we can't get you a number. But we will see a pinch hitter coming in. That'll be Kevin Bradley. The lefty will face the righty Cam Wysocki. Bradley pitch hitting for David Petrino. He'll step presumably into that DH role. Bradley, 283 on the year. Takes the first 2 pitches outside from Cam Wysocki. Wolverines pretty much straight up, a little bit deeper than average depth on Kevin Bradley. 6 doubles, 3 home runs on the year. 2-0. Hits the outside corner for a strike. Good fastball there from Cam Wysocki. He comes set. The 2-1 delivery. Swing and a miss. Nice breaking ball there from Cam Wysocki. We've seen a lot of Wysocki recently. He pitched against Eastern Michigan on Tuesday. Also pitched against Northwestern last Friday. 2-2 pitch just misses outside. Draws more cheers from the limited home crowd here at Ray Fisher Stadium. That runs the count full. Wysocki against Bradley. Here's the payoff pitch. And that one's in the dirt, not close. So a leadoff walk for Bradley. He'll head down to first base. And they'll bring up Sluter.
You would think that the key here for the Michigan pitching staff is really to, keep innings quick and try and get your offense back out there, build some momentum a little bit. But when you walk guys and extend innings, not just pitch-wise, but also time-wise especially, you don't give them any sort of continuity to work with.
And we saw that same phenomenon taking place in that Tuesday game, except on the opposite side with Eastern Michigan just going so long, their pitchers on the mound for so long that when their hitters came out, they were so cold. Eastern Michigan was finally able to put up some runs in the latter innings when the Wolverines were having some pretty quick innings once they had substituted their players. Here's the 1-0 to Sluter. There's a strike right at the knees in the inside corner. Sluter not pleased with that call. He'll have a smile and perhaps a few words with home plate umpire Sal Giacomontonio. As we mentioned, not the most consistent strike zone here from Sal Giacomontonio here tonight.
It is cold. Could be calling some extra strikes to try and get out of here a little bit quicker, get home, get some dinner.
1-1 pitch in the dirt. 2-1 on Ryan Sluter. 0 for 2 in the day. Walked his last time up. That was in the 5th. Bradley takes his lead off first base. Benedetti with him there. Arzaki delivers 2-1. There's a line drive base hit into center field. Bradley will trot over to second base. Sluter is into first with a single, and the first two runners are aboard for the Cowboys here in the top of the 7th.
And I'm looking online. Looks like Sal Giacomontonio had a minor league baseball career, played from 2005 to 2009. No stats, but there are pages about him. Interesting to learn a little bit more about our home plate umpire.
Dustin Williams will come to the plate, the first baseman for the Cowboys. First pitch just misses, perhaps a little low. 1 for 2 on the day. Ripped a double in the 4th to the right center field gap. Struck out looking his last time up in the 5th. Also walked in the 2nd. Bradley on second, Sluter on first. Middle of the infield in double play depth. Gutierrez a little close to the bag, holding with Bradley. Now he'll retreat. 1-0. That one's in the dirt. Breaking ball missed low and inside. 2-0 on Dustin Williams. Trouble brewing here for the Wolverines. They already trail 7-0. We're in the top of the 7th. First of 3 between the Wolverines and Cowboys, a non-conference showdown to finish the regular season here at Ray Fisher Stadium. 2-0 pitch. Patrick holds it for an extra beat that does not get the call. 3-0 here on Dustin Williams.
Kendall Patrick going to go out and talk to Cam, try and figure things out. I think they're both a little bit upset with Sal Giacomontonio not getting quite the calls they wanted. That last one was pretty close on the outer half. And Kendall Patrick has to be just saying, you do you. Keep throwing the pitches. Don't try not to get flustered and keep painting the corners. I'll do my best to get the calls for us both. He's in a jam here with first and second and a 3-0 count, no outs. Already down 7 are the Wolverines.
Wysocki comes set. The 3-0 delivery, that one misses outside. That almost lets the throw back from Kendall Patrick get away from him. That loads the bases with nobody out. A chance for the Cowboys to add to their lead. They'll bring up Jacob Chappelle, the freshman third baseman for the Cowboys. They'll draw a visit from, I believe that's Coach Bakich.
It is Coach Bakich indeed. He pointed down to the bullpen, gave his signal for a change already. Looks like another righty coming.
And there'll be Jace Vancina coming in to the game for the Wolverines. Vancina, 3.43 ERA, 2-1 on the year, 39 and a third inning pitch, 37 hits, 18 runs, 15 of those earned, 16 strikeouts versus 13 base on balls. Also has struggled with extra base hits. He's given up 11 of those in only 39 innings of work. We've also seen a lot of Vancina. Recently we saw him in the Sunday game of that Northwestern series, and then came back just 2 days later against Eastern Michigan. Solid outings, both after really getting roughed up in Chicago earlier last week. That was when the Wolverines visited Curtis Granderson Field and played University of Illinois Chicago. Were expected to win that game, but instead got shut out 7-0. They bounced back with a victory against Central Michigan and have been on a tear since. But they trail 7-0 here in the top of the 7th. Bases loaded, nobody out. What can Vancina do to get out of this trouble spot?
Well, he's got to get a ground ball. That's first and foremost the thing to do. Preferably something right back to Vancina himself, so he can, throw home, get the 4-1. But at this point, down 7, basically the same as down 8. So anything on the ground to the infield, and just try and end the inning. And get your offense back on the field. Get them a chance to find some success against a pitcher who has to be getting tired at this point in Michael Freeman.
Yeah, I don't see anyone taking off their warm-ups in that Cowboys bullpen, so expect for Freeman to go one more. There are some players beginning to get loose. But head coach Josh Holliday for the Cowboys expects his ace, and he is the true definition of an ace, to go at least one more. If he can get a really quick inning, wouldn't be surprised him to go 8, but I'm pretty sure the bottom of the 7th will be his last, and Holliday can then turn it over to his standout bullpen. But first things first, we're in the top of the 7th. Wolverines are in a jam. Jace Vancina getting warmed up on the mound, getting ready to face Jacob Chappelle. The freshman third baseman has had a fairly good day, reaching base twice. Struck out looking in the 2nd, but then walked in the 4th and the 6th. He scored last inning. That was the first run of the game, or first run of the inning. They tacked on 2 more on Costello's home run to deep to left center field. Vancina got his final warm-up toss in. Chappelle will step into that righty batter's box to face the righty Vancina. Wolverines a little bit deeper than usual, and then straight up in the outfield. The infield is all around pulled in, even with the bags. They'll look to come home here.
One thing to note about Vancina is he's another guy that has a really hard-to-hit fastball that bores in on you. 6'5", 225, the freshman.
And he'll come in with a fastball. That one misses up. 1-0 Chappelle. He comes set, shrugs his shoulders, delivers the 1-0. That one's low and outside. 2-0 on Jacob Chappelle. Already 2 walks, as I mentioned, on the day. He'd be happy for another one here to drive in another run for the Cowboys. Bradley on 3rd, Sluter on 2nd, Williams on 1st. Vancina on the mound. He came in for Wysocki moments ago. 2-0 pitch. That one's in there. That's away from Kendall Patrick. But heads up play by Jace Vancina goes to retrieve that ball. Kendall Patrick, I think that one skipped off his heel. He had no idea where that was, but he remained stationed at home plate. Didn't panic there and let his pitcher track down the ball, and all the runners had to stay put.
3-0. Big pitch here. Got to find the zone. If I were Chappelle, I might swing here. The infield playing in.
3-0 pitch. He is not swinging, but he takes it inside. And that will walk in a run for the Cowboys. They lead 8-0 here in the top of the 7th inning. They're still threatening. Bases loaded, nobody out. They'll bring up the top of the order. Wolverines have perhaps got a little bit lucky facing off against Gage Green. He's a very excellent player, all-around ball player for the Cowboys, but hasn't had the best of days. Struck out his first 2 times up, then walked in the 4th before sacrificing in the 6th. They'll likely get a chance to swing away here. They throw behind the runner at 3rd base after a called strike, but Sluter able to get back in there safely. Bivens had tried to sneak in behind him. No such luck. 0-1 on Gage Green. Sluter now stands on 3rd. Williams moved up to 2nd. Chappelle took the walk and is on 1st. Here's the 0-1. That's lifted high in the air to center field. Glines is tracking it. Now Bruder will call him off. That should be deep enough to score the run. They'll throw to 3rd base instead. So Sluter will come in to score on the sacrifice fly. Williams and Chappelle stay put, but that's another run for the Cowboys. They lead 9-0 here in the top of the 7th inning.
At this point, I think the Wolverines just, they got to focus at some point to get a run, make this one at least unembarrassing.
It's not too embarrassing if you lose to the number 13 team in the country with their ace on the mound.
Well, if you lose 9-0, it's always embarrassing. I don't think Coach Bakich would be too happy with a 9-0 loss, no matter who it's playing. You could be playing a Major League Baseball team, and it wouldn't look good to lose as they've done today. They've just been absolutely shut down offensively, and even though they haven't really given up any huge plays yet, defensively, I think that this team, has not displayed their best performance on the field, regardless of the competition.
1-0 delivery is fouled off out of play down the third base line. Evens kind of 1-1 on Donnie Walton. Walton started the first inning off with a bang. That was a 1-out double. He ended up coming around to score in the Cowboys' first inning. That really set the tone for the game. First inning was kind of representative as Cowboys got runners on and then got them home. Wolverines got runners on and could not get them home. And that was actually the Wolverines' last hit. Came to their second batter of the game, Jake Bivens, single up the middle. Looked like the Wolverines might get to Freeman. They have not, to say the least. He has walked 2 since then, but no hit since the first inning. As Donnie Walton fouls one back into the screen, goes down 1-2. Wolverines still in a jam here, only 1 out. Runners at first and second. That's in the form of Williams standing on second base. Chabelle is at first. Walton is at the plate. The lefty to face the righty Vancina. 1 out here in the top of the 7th. Cowboys lead 9-0. Here's the 1-2 pitch. That one's low and away. Evens the count at 2-2.
Vancina's got to shut the door here. Fire up his team just a little bit, maybe finish things off with back-to-back strikeouts.
The 2-2 pitch. That one's skied in the air to left field. Breeder tracking it. He will settle under and make the play. So a can of corn for Breeder out there in left field. That's the second out of the 7th inning. Runners remain at first and second. That will bring up Tim Arakawa. 2 for 3 on the day. 3 runs scored for the second baseman. Hit by a pitch in the first, came out to score. Singled in the third, also scored. Struck out in the fourth, and then doubled in the 6th. Not going to run before being homered home by Costello. Takes the first pitch for a strike. Good breaking ball there from Vancina.
Arakawa wants to make Vancina pay right here.
He's down 0-1 as a rare train passes through the athletic campus here in Ann Arbor. 0-1.
I'd say that train is only rare during the day. If you've lived within 3 miles of that thing, you get woken up at 4 a.m. quite frequently.
Good block there by Kendall Patrick.
Sorry, had to, shed my...
A little bitter, Eli?
My bitterness, my little bit of rage in my voice heard. Maybe somebody listening is on an Ann Arbor Planning Commission or something, can rearrange the train schedules, get some sleep for the local residents.
Nonetheless, third pitch misses up. It's 2-1 on Tim Arakawa. Vancina taking his time. Now he delivers 2-1. Another good block from Kendall Patrick. Keeps in front of him, but the count goes to 3-1. This is not a guy you want to fall behind on.
Arakawa again. He will make you pay. Nobody warming up for the Wolverines in the bullpen. Of course, nobody warming up for the Cowboys either. So they're sticking with Vancina and they're sticking with Freeman.
The 3-1 delivery. That one's low, and a walk loads the bases yet again. Patrick will scamper on out to the mound to have a word with his young right-hander. That was not a pretty at-bat, but a very brief discussion as Kendall Patrick's headed right back behind the plate. Connor Costello will come to the plate, and he's only 1 for 3 on the day, but that hit was quite a hit. Just last inning, he launched over the left center field wall. Very deep part of the ballpark out there, right around the flagpole area. There's no place to put him here. Bases are loaded, 2 outs. Mancina delivers. Breaking ball strike. And a questionable call there, as Costello didn't like that one too much, but
I chalked that up to the frame by Kendall Patrick. I think that was pretty good there, holding that one on the outside corner for the extra beat.
0-1 swing and a miss. Breaking ball fell right off the table. Costello's quickly down 0-2. We've seen Costello with pieces of 2-out hitting, or 2-strike hitting, excuse me, as he knocked in that home run on a 1-2 count last inning. Mancina taking his time, delivers 0-2. Just misses. Draws some boos here from the remaining faithful that have stuck around. Just about 150 people still in attendance. Mancina comes set.
Houseman, as usual, estimating with numbers pulled out of thin air.
It's a skill. 2-2 on Connor Costello. Bases are loaded for the Cowboys, trying to add to their 9-0 lead. They've already knocked in 2 near the top of the 7th. Mancina delivers. 2-2 pitch. That one's belted right to left field, right to Bruder. He'll have to pay on hop. It gets by him. 1 run will score. Here comes Chappelle. Arakawa was in to score. And there's a bases clearing double for Connor Costello. That has likely put this game out of reach. The Cowboys lead 12-0 here in the top of the 7th.
That's just embarrassing. You know, Bruder came in, thought he was going to, have a diving catch, or it appeared he thought he was going to have a diving catch, pulled up short and then tried to side swipe the ball and field it off to the side of his body. And then that ball getting by him, I'm surprised that Costello didn't end up on third base. That one went all the way to the wall and then bounced around, came back towards the infield before Bruder finally got to it. There was some movement initially in the dugout. Right after that, could be that we're going to see a pinch hitter next inning with the Wolverines down 12. Maybe Bruder's going to get the hook. He's due up first next inning.
And Costello will be rewarded by getting the rest of the day off. 5 RBIs on the day for Costello. And he'll get replaced for a pinch hitter.
Pinch runner,
excuse me. That's John Littell coming in, the freshman outfielder, 6'4", 195 pounds, a local boy from Stillwater, Oklahoma, playing for his hometown Cowboys. He's standing on second baseman, 2 outs here in the 7th. There's a ground ball to short, scooped up by Gutierrez, fires over to first base, and the Wolverines are finally out of the 7th inning, but they give up 5 runs, including a 2-out bases clearing double off the bat of Costello. That gives them a 12-0 lead as we head to the bottom of the 7th. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball. Andrew Hausman and Eli Sherman in the booth for the call for the first of 3 between these two teams.
Well, Hector Gutierrez at least has had a decent day, not necessarily at the plate, but then again, nobody has, but he's had a decent day in the field. He's shown that he can kind of stand up there with Bivens and field the position just about as well as the freshman, and that's key. I think to build your confidence in a game that it's not a conference game, but it matters a lot more than the other experiences that he's had over these last 2 seasons. We've only seen him in pinch hitting situations, in blowout conference games, as well as the occasional start in a midweek non-conference game against the likes of Eastern Michigan or Oakland University. And so getting a chance to start against the number 13 team in the country, this is by far the best baseball team he's ever had a chance to play in both college and in high school. He's been able to field his own and build a little bit of confidence that could play into Michigan's favor moving forward if they have to go to him, if Mazes stays, in his somewhat injured day-to-day status.
Yeah, almost by necessity, Hector Gutierrez is in the lineup. They could have shuffled it around a little bit and placed it so that Johnny Slater was out in the field, but Johnny Slater has been really slumping of late.
Well,
So,
another option is to, put Cronenworth on the left side of the field and put Jacobson in there, but I don't think Jacobson is the guy that they want necessarily day to day. He's a leader, but he isn't so much a stellar fielder or hitter for that matter. And Slater at least gives you the option of a really strong right fielder
and a good pinch running option off the bench, as Bruder will foul the second pitch of the at bat right onto the roof of the Wolverines dugout. So Eli suggested he might get pulled after that missed play in left field, but he remains in the game. Facing Freeman, he'll lift in the air to left center field. That one will get down. A diving hassle, unable to make the play. But McCain, the new left fielder, is there to back him up. And that'll be a single, but the Wolverines' first hit since the first inning. And they have a leadoff runner on here in the bottom of the seventh.
Yeah, McCain coming in as McCain. There's also Littell. McCain coming in this inning as a defensive replacement. Another one of those guys that doesn't get an opportunity too frequently.
And here's the aforementioned Eric Jacobson. He's coming into the game for Travis Mazes. And I got to agree with this call with Travis Mazes really only on one leg at this point. You don't want him to get any further injuries and just let him sit out the rest of this day, maybe even give the day off tomorrow before coming back Saturday, staying sharp for the Big Ten tournament. I expect to see him maybe play one of the remaining 2 games in the series, but Jacobson will come in as a pinch hitter, likely slide into that DH role. We could see him come in as a defensive replacement, as he's known as an average fielder. He's just had a rough year this year. Also has had a tough year at the plate. 272 isn't bad, but when you're hitting in the 320s, 330s like he was last year, it's a little bit of a disappointing senior year for Eric Jacobson. Nonetheless, he'll get an opportunity here to face off against Michael Freeman. He deals outside. 1-0 on Eric Jacobson. Bruder on first base. Williams holding with him there. As we mentioned, Littell came in as a pinch runner, and he's in right field now. McCain came in for Schluter in left. The rest of the defense, the same for the Cowboys. 1-1 on Eric Jacobson. Just took a called strike. Now here's the 1-1 pitch. It's a high chop fielded by Freeman. He'll fire over to first base. And there's an out. The first out of the inning. Bruder will move up to second base.
He checked Bruder at second base, almost went there, and probably could have gotten Bruder, but, go for the sure thing. It's a smart play by Freeman. They are up 12. No need to really go for that extra runner.
Yeah, when you're up 12-0 here in the seventh and you've just shut the Wolverines down, it really doesn't make any sense. You could airmail it into center field, and next thing you know, Bruder could be coming in to score standing on third, and then also allow Jacobson to reach with nobody out. Take the sure out and let the guy move into his scoring position, as the Wolverines are 0 of 6 today with runners in scoring position. So he's done a good job shutting him down so far and looks to continue that streak against Kevin White, who will step out for his third plate appearance of the day. Takes strike 0-1.
0 for 6 with runners in scoring position. 0 for 6 with 2 outs.
Ground ball is short, and as fielded by Walton, he'll throw it over to Williams. There's the second out of the inning. Bruder did a nice acrobatic play there on the base paths as he jumped. Did not want to get hit by the batted ball and ruled out. So he jumped, almost did looked like he was going to do a shooting star or something of the like, and lets the ball go between his legs. Trots down to third. That's where he is with 2 outs, leading up to Harrison Wenson, who's pinch hitting for Kendall Patrick. Kendall Patrick getting the rest of the night off. Smart move, rest your senior catcher, as we expect to see him in the lineup the next 2 days, but give him the last 3 innings off here.
Not only are the Wolverines now hitting 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position, they're also only hitting 1 for 9 with runners on. That one hit came in the first inning with Cronenworth on first base. Bivens at the plate just moved Cronenworth over to second. This is the only the third time the Wolverines have had a runner in scoring position today. Second time they've had a runner at third.
And that's where Bruder is with 2 outs here. 2-0 to Harrison Wenson. The pinch hitter batting .053 on the year. He takes a strike on the inside corner, 2-1. 1 for 19 on the year for Winston. It's been a rough year. Obviously, very limited time, and we'll see a new ball switched out. 2-1 to Harrison Winston. 2 outs here in the bottom 7th. The Wolverines trail 12-0. 2-1 is foul off right between the legs of Gage Green. That evens the count at 2-2.
I think
Outfield
Sal
will readjust just a little bit.
I think Sal took a hard hit off the leg on that foul ball. It got passed from Gage Green and I think bounced up and hit him. Green gave him a little bit of extra time, asked him to make sure he was all right. Looks like he is, so we're going to keep it going.
2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss by Harrison Winston. Michael Freeman's 8th strikeout of the day. Strands the runner at third. The Wolverines go scoreless yet again. We head to the top of the 8th. Wolverines trail 12-0. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball. Andrew Hausman alongside Eli Sherman. The fans are emptying out here at Ray Fisher Stadium, but this is the last home series and last regular season series of the season for the Wolverines. So we encourage you to tune into our final 2 broadcasts of the year. And also, if you can, make it out to a game at Ray Fisher Stadium. Recent renovations to the stands have made it one of the nicest ballparks to play in and to attend a game in the Big Ten. So if you can, make it to a game. 6 p.m. tomorrow, noon on Saturday. We'll have both games on the call right here. So you can tune into our YouTube channel for the last 2 games of this series. Still 2 more innings to be played in this one, but the result is pretty much settled as the Cowboys lead 12-0. Jace Vancina back onto the mound for another inning. Had a rough inning. His first time out gave up 2 unearned runs, 2 walks. And they will rule that misplay by Bruder an error. So
Deservedly so. Going to take this time to also plug the University of Michigan women's softball team. They're starting off regional play tomorrow afternoon. 6:30 game. They're going to be the 1 seed in the regional, of course, hosting it. They're the number 3 national seed. They're going to be playing Oakland University. The other game starts at 3:30. That one being played between the Cal Bears and the Pittsburgh Panthers. Although all the Michigan games in that regional will be, of course, broadcast on WCBN Sports. Tune in to, or make sure to follow our Twitter account for updates on which of the 2 channels, WCBN 2 or WCBN 1, will have the call on that.
Vancina back on the mound. He'll deal a strike on the outside corner. Kevin Bradley came into pinch last inning. He walked and ended up coming around to score in that 5-run inning for the Cowboys. Now takes a pitch outside, levels the count at 1-1. Wolverines sticking with the same defense, except Harrison Winston has come in to catch for Kendall Patrick. 1-1 pitch. There's a strike on the outside corner. Good breaking ball by Jace Vancina. Makes it 1-2 on Kevin Bradley. Here's the delivery, and that almost hits him. He's able to get out of the way. Count even at 2-2. Bradley, 283 hitter on the year. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. And that'll be a foul ball. I thought he was able to strike him out, but able to get a piece of it. And he's able to stay alive. Bradley has been, I guess you could say, the number 10 man for this Cowboys squad. He hasn't started a ton of games, only 12 starts, on the year, but 17 games played and batting .283 in limited action. Pitch is well outside, runs the count full. Full count to the pinch hitter, Kevin Bradley. He's in the DH role. Replaced the starting DH last inning, and payoff pitch, swing and a miss. And there's the first out of the inning here in the top of the 8th. Nice strikeout by Jace Vancina, his first of the day. And he gets Kevin Bradley. Now another pinch hitter coming up for the Cowboys. Garrett McCain, the freshman, will come in. He came as a defensive replacement in left field last inning. Batting .309 on the year. Takes a strike right at the knees on the inside corner. Oh and 1 to McCain. Here it comes. That one just misses. Even count at 1-1. McCain's played 25 games, 17 of those starts, so fairly significant playing time for the freshman. He fouls the next pitch off into the parking lot. 1-2. McCain also getting a little bit of action on the mound. Left-handed pitcher as well. But he is a righty batter from Wiley, Texas, 6 foot, 185 pounds. Now he'll call time. Vancino is taking a little too long. Wolverines straight up on the righty hitting McCain. Average depth in the outfield. Breeder in left, Glines in center, White in right. Here's the 1-2 pitch. And that one's in the dirt. We'll get away from Harrison Winston, but no harm done with nobody aboard. One out here in the top of the 8th. Vancino delivers. That one's fouled off into the parking lot again. Count remains 2-2. Wolverines trail 12-0 here in the opener of a 3-game sit at Ray Fisher Stadium in Ann Arbor. We're in the top of the 8th inning. The 2-2 pitch, breaking ball, strike 3 called. Back-to-back strikeouts by Jace Vancino to start the 8th.
That one was beautiful. You knew that was a strike 3 right from the get-go. I could tell in the tune of your voice, and Jace Vancino knew too. He came off the mound fist pumping before that one even got to the plate. Nice piece of pitching there. Too bad it's mostly irrelevant at this point with the 12-run deficit.
Now pinch hitting for Oklahoma State is number 33, Mason O'Brien. Very limited action for Mason O'Brien. He has played in 15 games, but pretty much all in mop-up duty. He's not going to single start on the year. 2 for 20 on the year. Good for a 100 batting average. Does have 1 RBI.
O'Brien, a freshman, plays first base and outfield. Left-handed hitter out of Owasso, Oklahoma.
Takes the ball in the dirt, evens it at 1-1. Here's delivery from Vancino, looking to strike out the side, but instead the ball is lifted high to center field. Glines tracking it, makes the catch. An easy 1-2-3 inning for Jace Vancino. That's encouraging for the Wolverines. We head to the bottom of the 8th. Wolverines trail 12-0 to the Oklahoma State Cowboys. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball. Andrew Hausman alongside Eli Sherman. So the subs are starting to come into this one. The result has been well decided. And first up will be the number 9 hitter, Hector Gutierrez. 9-1-2 coming up for the Wolverines. Cronenworth and Bivens will be due up for the Wolverines if they do indeed remain in the game. And we will see Michael Freeman return to the mound again.
I don't blame him.
He has been spectacular here tonight. 7 innings pitched, 3 hits, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts, 26 batters faced, and he's retired 21 of them. And he, as Eli mentioned, a true ground ball pitcher. 10 ground outs against only 3 fly balls. He's lowered his ERA down to 1.07, a true rarity at any level of baseball. 104 pitches, 65 for strikes, but head coach Josh Holliday not afraid to ride him. I think this will be his final inning.
Of course, 104 pitches. You can't go much further than that. It would take 3 pitches and 3 outs and then some, for them to want to keep him in. I don't see why you'd want to go much longer in a 12-run deficit. One point I want to make, we were talking about the schedule earlier. Michigan's last 3 games, a 19-1 victory on Sunday against Northwestern, a 17-2 victory against Eastern Michigan on Tuesday, and then here a 12-0 deficit in the bottom of the 8th against Oklahoma State. And Oklahoma State, again, has played at some time or another 10 ranked teams this season. Michigan just 2 coming into the series. You got to be facing tougher competition so you can get used to facing a team like this. And obviously you can't do much with the Big Ten schedule, but those non-conference games, I think in the future, Michigan has to try and find some sort of arrangement to work out where they're playing teams that are more stiff competition than Eastern Michigan and Oakland and Central.
And during that break in the action, we saw 2 pitches. 0-2 on Hector Gutierrez. Ripped one just foul. Chappelle came over to field it, but was standing about 2 or 3 feet in foul territory when he picked up that ball. So a long strike for Hector Gutierrez. 0 for 1 on the day. Struck out looking in the 3rd. Walked in the 5th. He'll take that one outside 1-2. Outfield plays the righty Gutierrez to go the opposite way.
Appears that the Michigan coaching staff has decided we aren't going to see another pitcher. The grounds crew is raking and sweeping the mounds.
And a 1-2 pitch, line drive, base hit into left center field. Gutierrez will take a big turn, but retreat back to first base. So a leadoff single for Hector Gutierrez. The Wolverines' 4th hit of the day. That could be the end for Michael Freeman, excuse me.
Michael Hendrickson is a Michigan pitcher. I don't think his day is going to get quite started.
Freeman will remain on the mound, but really impressed with Gutierrez so far today. He did strike out looking his first time up, but drew a 4-pitch walk in the 5th, and then here with a leadoff single in the 8th. I think he could continue to earn regular playing time, especially with Mays' hobble. First pitch at Cronenworth, check swing. Did he go around? He indeed did.
Oh, for sure. No chance on that one for Cronenworth. He just got absolutely bamboozled by that curveball in the inner half.
0-1 on Cronenworth. O'Brien, the new first baseman, he's holding with Hector Gutierrez. That one's popped high in the air. McCain, the new left center fielder, giving chase, as will Walton. Walton will retreat from shortstop, make the catch. There's the first out here in the bottom of the 8th for the Wolverines. They trail 12-0 against the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Gutierrez open up with a single. But a pop-up from Cronenworth is the first out of the inning. Now Jake Bivens will dig in. He's 1 for 3. That hit came in the first inning. That was the Wolverines' 2nd hit of the day, and it looked like they were off to a hot start against Freeman, but shut him down ever since. They had 2 hits in the first 2 batters, and they've had 2 hits since, and we're in the bottom of the 8th inning. Swinging a cut foul. Bivens struck out swinging in the 3rd, then popped out on a foul fly to the third baseman Chappelle back in the 6th. Klein's on deck, Benedetti in the hole. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That misses up. 1-1. Still 2 pitchers getting warm in the Cowboys bullpen. Very difficult to see who those pitchers are. High chop, that's fielded by Freeman, and he will not make the play. So a infield single for Jake Bivens, and the Wolverines are starting to threaten here. Obviously a little too late. They're down 12 in the bottom of the 8th, but a miscommunication there between the new first baseman O'Brien. He came in to try and field that one. Freeman waved him off, but the second baseman Arakawa did not get over in time to cover first base, and Bivens was able to beat it out.
Yeah, I think that's really on the second baseman Arakawa. He's got to be there. Freeman did his job to field that on the high chop, and Arakawa's got to be there for Freeman to flip, because there's no way that on a ball that's hit with such a high bounce that Freeman's going to be able to catch it and beat a speedy runner like Bivens to first base.
Well, you got to wonder what O'Brien's in there, too. He looked a little confused. He charged in that hard. Yeah, at least think the first baseman stands a shot of getting back to first base after he saw that his pitcher, Freeman, was going to make the play. Nonetheless, Glines takes a called strike, 0-1. Freeman remains in the game. 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th. There's a half-check swing that goes off his foot. 0-2 on Glines. Glines has not looked comfortable at the plate all day long. Fielder's choice in the first. Strikeout swing in the 4th. Then lined out to second base. It was a line drive, but that was a little deceiving. If you look at the box scores, it was a really weak liner right to Arakawa at second base. He's got an opportunity here, at least get the Wolverines on the scoreboard. The game's out of reach, but at least trying to prevent the shutout. 0-2 delivery. That one is a lined foul. It was late on the fastball and shoots it down the left field line. Remains 0-2.
And what's surprising is, this is the fourth time that these Wolverines have faced off against Freeman. They really haven't figured out anything yet. We're in the bottom of the eighth, and they're still struggling to find any sort of rhythm against him, find any sort of timing.
A great breaking ball there from Freeman. A lot of late break and just broke a little bit too far out of the zone. That makes it 1-2. Gutierrez takes his lead off second. Bivens off first. Freeman will check the runners. Now deliver, and that one will go foul down the first base line. Got past the first baseman O'Brien, but in foul territory. Count remains 1-2. The few remaining fans in attendance encouraging Glines to knock in the Wolverines' first run of the game. Can't be more than about 50 to 70 people here. Freeman taking a long look in. He's at over 115 pitches. The 1-2 pitch. That one just misses. Draws some cheers from the Oklahoma State faithful stationed down the first base line. Evens it at 2-2. Gutierrez on second. Bivens on first. Here comes the 2-2. Right back up the middle. Off the glove of Freeman. What a play. Gets the first at second, but not in time. And now we'll see that one skip away. And the Wolverines will score a run. They will not be shut out. Gutierrez will scamper home. The Wolverines trail 12-1 here in the bottom of the eighth. So quite a spectacular play. A lot of action to update you on. We saw a ground ball off the glove of the catcher Freeman. Then Walton, the shortstop, made an absolutely spectacular play. He thought he was going to get that one for 2. Instead, after Freeman deflected that one, Walton dove for that one, barehanded it, flipped it to Arakawa, got the first out. That was the force on Bivens. Then Arakawa's throw to first was a little bit too late. It popped out of the glove of O'Brien, who's had a rough first inning defensively. And then as the one popped out of the glove and trickled down into foul territory, heads up base running by Hector Gutierrez allowed him to score. So an unearned run for the Wolverines, but they'll take it nonetheless. They've now run out first with 2 outs.
My thought on
waves
that,
and misses at the first one and then fouls the second one out of play.
My thought on that one is, who cares about the run? It's 12-1, but that was an amazing play by Walton. He was heading towards short, expecting the ball to be up the middle, and then had to dive back towards third base to make the play. Fields it, on a hop, bare hand, laying down on the ground, and flips it to second base in one quick motion. It doesn't get much better than that, and that's that looked like a big league play by a top shortstop right there.
1-2 pitch. That's laced right back up the middle, but that'll be snagged by Arakawa. Finally, some solid contact off the bat of Carmen Benedetti, but a nice play there by the second baseman Arakawa to take away a hit. The Wolverines get an unearned run in the bottom of the eighth. We head to the top of the ninth. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball. Andrew Husband alongside Eli Sherman. Glad you're still with us. This one has not been pretty for the Wolverines, but they are able to get an unearned run there on a little bit of crazy action, and give them credit. They did get 2 hits, and Hector Gutierrez with a very solid single left center to lead it off. Cronenworth then popped out. Bivens singled on the defensive miscommunication, so it went down as an infield single before Glines reached on the fielder's choice. Then the error by the muffed throw by the first baseman O'Brien allowed Gutierrez to come home for the Wolverines' first run of the game. They're still out of this one. They trail 12-1. Jace Mancina will take over, return to the mound. And it will likely be his game to finish up, as there's no one warming up in the Wolverines bullpen. And as Eli noted, the grounds crew's already raked the mounds out there in left field bullpen. So it's going to be his game to finish out. We saw him do this in the opener of the Wolverines' last series. That was against Northwestern. They had a rain-soaked game in that Friday opener. and he pitched the last three, get a 3-inning save. He'll likely pitch the last three here. So he's had a up and down day. 2 innings pitched, 1 hit, 2 runs. Those were unearned. 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. That will bring up Jacob Chappelle. Jacob Chappelle 0 for 1 on the day, 3 walks, including in the 7th when he walked with the bases loaded to knock a run in. So that's his lone RBI of the day, but nonetheless, he will be replaced for a pinch hitter, Hunter Hagler, coming in. Hagler takes the first pitch for a strike. Next pitch is in the dirt, 1-1. One and one on Hunter Hagler. Vancina delivers. Swing and a miss. Nice breaking ball there by Vancina.
Bet you Hunter's a good person to go shopping with. Could get you a good deal at maybe ABC Warehouse or something.
Hagler, the senior infielder out of Vidora, Texas, 6'2", 290 pounds. That one just misses. Watch this go by outside. 2-2. Hagler, 167. Does an on-base percentage of 500. Very limited action. 1 for 6 on the year, but 1 walk. Pops that one up. Down the first base foul side. Benetti coming over, but he will not be able to make the catch. He'll run out of room. That one got about 5 feet out of play. Gave some ushers a scare. Count remains 2-2 on Hunter Hagler. As I mentioned, very limited playing time.
First time he's ever let off an inning, or at least this season.
8 games played, 6 at-bats, 2 runs. So both times he's gotten on base, he's come around to score.
Hagler out of Vidor, Texas. Small town.
A 2-2 pitch that's grounded to short. Bivens will scoop it up on a couple hops, fire over to first base. And there's the first out on the top of the ninth.
You just made the same mistake I did on Tuesday. That's Hector Gutierrez. Bivens at third today. Another nice play by Gutierrez, though.
And he looks so much like Bivens. And
yeah, they have a similar body type, and you know, they really have a similar playing style at shortstop. You know, get a really low to the ground to field ground balls, get the hands way out in front, soft hands bringing it in to the waist as the ball comes in. Good fundamentals from both of them.
They make up the left side of the infield and perhaps could be around for years. Gutierrez is only a sophomore. Bivens a freshman. So that could be the starting left side of the infield for the future. Here's the 0-1 delivery to Gage Green. Swing and a miss.
Dirty one there.
And this pitch speed monitor is way off. That one came in at 50 miles an hour. Just kind of ignoring it at this point. The 0-2 pitch. That one's popped high in the air. Gutierrez tracking out. He will be waved off by Bruder. He'll make the catch.
That one set a breezy 60 miles an hour on the fastball in the outside corner. You know, there are kids in the house league that I umpired that throw harder than 60. So, yeah, clearly something wrong going on with the radar gun tonight.
Donnie Walton will step to the plate for the 6th time here tonight. 1 for 5 on the day. He doubled off that left field wall in the first. He's been quiet ever since. Pair of groundouts, sandwiched around a strikeout.
It's not too frequent that you get 6 at-bats in a game.
I also give Walton credit. Absolutely spectacular play last inning. First pitch outside, 1-0. Here's the delivery. Again, outside, 2-0. And as we mentioned, that ground ball deflected off the glove of Freeman, the pitcher. Walton was ranging to his left, going up the middle for a potential double play ball. Instead, dove back to his right as he was able to stop the ball barehanded, flip it to Arakawa at second base, get the first at second. But then a too high throw to be debated if it was Arakawa's fault or the first baseman O'Brien. O'Brien was ended up charged with the error, and that allowed Gutierrez to score. But Walton will foul that one off and level the count at 2-2. Now he'll step out of that lefty batter's box. 2 outs here in the top of the ninth. Cowboys lead the Wolverines 12-1. Here's the 2-2 pitch. There's a ground ball to short. It is Hector Gutierrez. He'll fire to first base. And that's the 3rd out on the top of the ninth. Wolverines will need a miracle and more.
Sounds familiar.
That's what we set out the Wolverines' last 2 opponents as we head to the top of the ninth, as the Northwestern Wildcats were trailing by 18 runs and the Eastern Michigan Eagles were trailing by 15. Wolverines only a minuscule deficit of 11 runs as we head to the bottom of the ninth.
Minuscule.
We likely will see a new pitcher for the Cowboys, as Michael Freeman has thrown 124 pitches. Very rare to see a college pitcher go that long. And very interesting. We don't see a pitcher coming into the game yet. The head coach, Josh Holliday, motioning for a new pitcher, as is catcher Gage Green. No one's come into the game yet, and now they're getting the message down there in the bullpen.
They're looking for a right-hander. It took them a while to communicate which pitcher down there they wanted.
And we'll get you the stats as soon as he comes into the game. But we'll have an extended half-inning break here, as you'd expect him to come right out and start warming up. But he's just getting warmed up about 2 minutes into the break. That'll be Michael Mertz, the junior right-hander, 6'2", 215 pounds, out of Pflugerville, Texas.
Pflugerville. Also, he's a junior college transferring from Cisco College.
Very limited action by Mertz, but he has not given up an earned run all year. Only 2 appearances, 2 2/3 innings pitched. No hits, no runs, no errors, no walks, 1 strikeout. He's been perfect so far against 8 batters. We'll see if he can keep it going against the Wolverines. As we mentioned, very limited playing time for Mertz, but he's been solid so far. And Eli, what do you expect to see out of Mertz this inning?
To be honest, I expect him to continue his perfect season. Wouldn't be surprised if the Wolverines are content to take their earful from Coach Bakich and go home and try again tomorrow. It would take a little bit of a hitting streak off Michael Mertz right here. They probably see 3, 4, maybe 5 pitchers in this inning if they were to stage any sort of comeback that got close to the 11-run deficit. But, you know, it all starts with 1. Cody Bruder going to come to the plate and, you know, try and make a difference here. The key for them is to, you know, take things 1 at bat at a time. You know, no guy is going to hit a home run and score 11 runs on that 1 home run. So, you know, you got to get base runners and you got to avoid mistakes, be patient at the plate, get runners on, and move them over with hits, not with small ball or ground outs or sac flies.
Bruder steps to the plate. He's the first batter. That one goes well outside, bounces up to home plate. Mertz makes it 1-0 on Cody Bruder. Johnny Slater will pinch hit next. He's standing on deck. Here's the 1-0 delivery. Started swing and stop. That's a strike nonetheless. Sal Giacomo goes up with the right hand. Levels the count at 1-1. Nobody out here in the bottom of the ninth. Wolverines need an 11-run comeback. And there's a rip just foul. That would have been a good start if he had kept that one fair. It's nothing but a long strike. 1-2 on Cody Bruder. Try to lace that one into the left field corner. Just a little bit out ahead of the fastball from Michael Mertz. Mertz goes into his windup and delivers the 1-2 pitch. Fell off down the right field line this time. That will get into the parking lot out there.
Caromed off. Looks like a GMC just along the curb.
1-2 here. Mertz holds it for an extra beat. Now there's 1-2. That one is laced just over the glove of Walton, and that's a base hit into left field. Walton almost made another spectacular play at the shortstop position, but just a little bit too short with that 5'10" frame. Perhaps if he was 6 foot, he would have been able to knock that ball down, keep it in the infield. But a leadoff single for Cody Bruder gets the Wolverines with their leadoff runner on for the second inning in a row. Johnny Slater now pinch hitting for the Wolverines. He had worked his way back in the starting lineup, but did not get the start today as Hector Gutierrez has impressed of late. Nice Slater, 237 on the year in fairly significant playing time.
One hit at a time. That's the key. Slater's got to do the same starting here.
Takes a fastball strike right across the heart of the plate. 0-1. Bruder on first base. Outfield very deep all around and a no doubles look. Mertz takes a long look in, working from the stretch with Bruder on first base. O'Brien holding with him there. Now comes home. 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Nasty breaking ball in the dirt. 0-2 on Johnny Slater.
I don't know what Slater was swinging at there. That's, even for him, not the type of pitch he looks for. Normally he looks for something thigh high or above and on the inner half of the plate, something he can pull.
0-2 pitch. Well outside. Tried to get him to chase the changeup. 1-2. Kevin White standing on deck. He's 0 for 3. Mertz taking plenty of time here in the bottom of the ninth. Now he'll come set in the stretch. 1-2 delivery. That one gets away. Bruder will scamper on down to second base. It'll be a wild pitch. Bruder advances. Wolverines have a runner in scoring position, but they are 0 of 9 runners in scoring position so far today. They scored that one run as an unearned run last inning. Hector Gutierrez coming in to score after O'Brien missed the catch over at first base on a potential inning-ending double play. Mertz checks the runner at second, delivers 2-2. Check swing, he held up. That was in the dirt. Count goes full. Wind starting to pick up just a little bit. It's a light breeze from left to right. Full count here to Johnny Slater. Mertz checks Bruder at second. Checks him again. Now comes home. The payoff pitch, and that is a walk. So the Wolverines have their first 2 runners on. Nobody out here in the bottom of the ninth. Wolverines starting to have visions of miracles dance in their head, but they have a long way to go.
Al Michaels is thinking of the Wolverines somewhere. Kevin White could get things started for the Wolverines. He has a hot bat.
Yeah, very good game
on the season.
Very good game on Tuesday. Really set the tone early with 2 hard doubles. One went right off the shortstop, David Lapp, for the Eagles. Then ended up knocking in 4 runs on the day. 0 for 3 today, though. He takes a strike on the outside corner. Good fastball there from Michael Mertz. Michael Mertz, perfect no more. He had not allowed a base runner in 2 2/3 innings of work so far this year, but so far he's given up a run and now a full pitch, full count walk to Johnny Slater. Bruder on second, Slater on first. He checks the runners once, twice, now delivers. That one's in the dirt. Good block there by Gage Green. Interesting that Green is still in this game, even with it being a 12-run lead, but that shows you the confidence that head coach Josh Holliday has in his senior backstop. Perhaps hasn't developed the same faith in some of his younger understudies.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that. I think Gage Green, it's been, a few days since he's been in, and catchers at the college level definitely have the stamina to go 3, 4, 5 games in a row without rest. And, they're just giving him his usual experience. They definitely do want to try to build that stamina up because coming tournament time, he might have to catch 3, 4, 5 days in a row, if not multiple games in a day.
1-2 pitch, swing and a miss by Kevin White. He chased the fastball high, was trying to rip it out of here, but there's the first out. The Wolverines down to their last 2 outs here. They have runners still at first and second. Harrison Wenson, 1 for 20 on the year. He'll dig into that righty batter's box to face the righty Michael Mertz.
At least it's a nice even number, 1 for 20.
I'd like to make it 2 for 21. Quick, Eli, what would that be? We got a hit here.
I stopped doing math back in high school. I'm a computer scientist now. I have the computers do the work for me.
And he takes a strike right at the knees in the outside corner, 0-1. The correct answer is .095.
Well, there you go. For what it's worth, to the listeners out there, Andrew had to look that one up, typing into Google Calculator.
Winston fouls the next one off. I had to confirm if you were going to get it right.
Sure.
Bruder on second, Slater on first. Wolverines trail 12-1 here in the bottom of the ninth. First of three between the Wolverines and Cowboys at Ray Fisher Stadium, the season-ending set. Mertz checks the runners once, twice, delivers 0-2. Right back at him. Goes off his glove. And that one will drop in. Safe for an infield single. That should have been a line drive, perhaps even a double play with the runners leaning off their bags. Instead goes right off the glove of Michael Mertz. And the Wolverines have the bases loaded with only one out here in the bottom of the ninth.
Yeah, Mertz, nearly caught that.
Then he lost it.
I don't know if you can fault him for dropping it. It was a really hard hit ball, and then he was kind of phased for that short period of time. He didn't know where the ball had gone, possibly because he was so surprised that he was still alive. And then that half second to find it is what allowed the catcher Wenson to chug down the line. Probably one of the slower runners on this Michigan team, still beating out that single.
And gets his second hit of the year, moves his batting average up to .095.
Well, there you go.
Here's Hector Gutierrez, batting .333 on the year, 6-18, but takes a big rip, foul down the right field line. 0-1 pitch, gets in there for a strike, 0-2. Bases loaded for the Wolverines. They trail 12-1 here in the bottom of the ninth. Mertz delivers. And strike three call on Hector Gutierrez. A breaking ball backdoors him for out number 2.
We've been complimenting his fielding performance, but that's the second strikeout looking today. And, in the first inning, in the second inning in his first at bat, that's when you're facing off against one of the best pitchers in the country. You got to get the bat off your shoulders with 2 strikes. It's close. Both pitches were on that inner half. And right there, you're down 12-1, bases loaded. You can't stand up there and look with 2 strikes. You got to swing.
Indeed you do. They will leave it up to Jacob Cronenworth. 1 for 4 on the day. He led this game off, or led off the bottom of the first with a single, but quiet ever since. He's got a chance to at least knock in a few runs here. 1-0, now 2-0. Bruder on third, Slater on second, Wenson on first. Bruder would score easily with 2 outs. Slater with very good speed at second should also score on any sort of base hit. Wenson would probably take a triple to score from first. 2-0 pitch. That one misses outside. 3-0. Do you give him the green light here?
Yeah, why not? He can hit, and you need something to happen.
3-0. Cronenworth taking all the way, and he'll take that for a strike. Jake Bivens standing on deck. 3-1 on Jacob Cronenworth. Bases are loaded. 2 outs here in the bottom of the ninth. 12-1 Cowboys. 3-1 pitch. Strike on the outside corner. That'll loosen up the runners here with 2 outs. Full count.
Cronenworth didn't like that one. Turned around and had a few words for Sal.
Bases loaded, 2 outs. Here's the payoff pitch. That one's fouled. We'll get into the Yost Ice Arena parking lot. Count remains 3-2, and Cronenworth has done a good job fouling off a number of pitches in his at-bats. He's been seeing a lot of pitches, just hasn't been able to get anything done against the dominating lefty Michael Freeman, now facing Michael Mertz. He's led a few base runners, but no runs so far. Payoff pitch. That one's outside, and the Wolverines will get another run. Michael Mertz walks in a run. That makes it 12-2 here in the bottom of the ninth. Jacob Cronenworth walks. They trail by 10 runs as Jake Bivens will step to the plate. Still bases loaded with 2 outs.
10 runs to go, 1 out to work with, and they're hitting an astronomical 0 for 8 with 2 outs today. So, everything's in Michigan's favor at this point.
You really got to like their chances in this game. Jake Bivens, 2 for 4 on the day. Another solid day for him as he extends his hitting streak to 12 games. Takes a breaking ball strike on the outside corner. Outfield, fairly deep all around. Still in a no doubles look. Slater would score easily from third. Wenson pretty slow at second base. Cronenworth with good speed at first. Next pitch is low and outside, 1-1. Bivens singled in the first, struck out swinging in the third. Popped out in the fifth on a foul fly, and then singled in the eighth. The 1-1 pitch. That one's outside. Mertz pops the glove of catcher Gage Green. Makes it 2-1. Now he drops the ball as it comes back to him.
I think Mertz, his arm slot is kind of dropping down a little bit. We saw Gage Green give him an instruction to that effect, say, come over the top, not from, out to the side.
And he readjusted it back up. You could tell he was a little crisper in that delivery. Deals it in for a strike. Fastball makes it 2-2. Wolverines are down to their last strike here. They trail 12-2 in the bottom of the ninth. Slater on third, Wenson on second, Cronenworth on first, all itching to come home and make this game a little bit closer. 2-2 pitch fouled straight back right towards us, but into the screen. Count remains 2-2.
I wouldn't want that one to get up above the screen. That was a hard hit ball. I don't know if we would have been able to handle it up here in the box, especially with our laptop computers.
Looks like he was heading more towards our counterpart from Oklahoma State, making a long journey up here.
Yeah, he's done a nice job today from what we can hear with the headsets on.
2-2 pitches foul back over the third base side. Bivens staying alive here. Jackson Glines standing on deck. He's 0 for 4. Benedetti in the hole. Both looking for a chance to bat. Just get a few more at-bats. This game looks mostly settled, but the Wolverines do have the bases loaded here for Jake Bivens.
Curveball
the 2-2 pitch. Curveball misses well outside.
Could tell by the way Gage Green was set up behind the plate. He was, expecting that one to be in the dirt and didn't get it to break enough.
Will Mertz walking another run here. 3-2 pitch. Runners are off. Swing and a miss. That's the ball game. The Cowboys finish off the game that they were in control of from start to finish. An outstanding performance from Michael Freeman on the mound. Wolverines offense unable to get much of anything going, and their pitchers struggle. They fall 12-2 here in the opener at Ray Fisher Stadium. Eli, what are your final thoughts?
My final thoughts are that Michael Freeman is a very good pitcher. His ERA after that game, 1.06. His whip down to just .903 on the season. It's not too often that you see a pitcher at any level with those numbers, particularly the college game where, guys just keep hitting away at you. Things are much more offensively minded in the college game with aluminum bats, tighter seams on the balls than in the majors. And, if he's able to perform that well in college, especially playing in one of the arguably the best conference, right up there with the ACC and the SEC, definitely ahead of the Pac-12, definitely ahead of the Big Ten. He's playing in one of the best conferences, and he has just outrageous numbers. And he's the highlight. It was fun to watch, even from kind of a Michigan biased perspective. So, yeah, definitely my player of the game for both teams, and really probably will end up having been the player of the series when things are all said and done, barring something spectacular from an individual effort on either side of this one.
Yeah, indeed he was. Definitely the best breaking balls I've ever seen out of a college pitcher, perhaps the best pitching performance I've ever seen from a player at the college level. As you mentioned, lowers his ERA below 1 at .97. Absolutely spectacular from Michael Freeman. And he's not a hard thrower. He didn't get it done by just powering the fastball in there. He obviously, as we mentioned throughout the broadcast, not the most accurate radar readings, but I would put him right about 85, 86 topping out, but just excellent control, very good movement, especially right at the plate. So a great performance from Michael Freeman. He gets the win, moves to 9-2 on the year. Evan Hill, Michigan starter, takes the loss, goes to 1-2. He had a rough outing. Final line for him, 3 1/3, 5 hits, 4 runs, 3 of those earned, 4 walks versus 4 strikeouts. Gave up 3 extra base hits, 2 doubles, and a triple. Really what stood out, though, for Evan Hill was that he threw 84 pitches, only 3 1/3, and 44 of those were balls. So just was unable to get the ball across the plate all game long. That allowed the Cowboys to get into good hitters counts, and then they really made him pay. So Evan Hill had a rough outing. The Wolverines fall to 32-22 in the loss. Cowboys improve their record to 33-16. That's going to do it for our broadcast here from Ray Fisher Stadium. We're going to remind you to tune in tomorrow for the second of 3 between these two teams. That will be at 6 p.m. We'll have the call for you right here. We'll be on the YouTube 2 channel. And then the final game of the series will be Sunday at noon. That's going to be it. For Eli Sherman, I'm Andrew Hausman. Good night and go blue.